Let's see here. So you guys can hear me fine. That's good. The volume's great. I'm gonna move you guys back to the normal map.
Yeah, that map
So
was clearing.
technically, I think we're still in combat.
Yeah, I banished the other person away for a minute.
That's right.
Gideona.
And I think that that Ryan had an action that he wanted to do for when she came back. So
I don't remember.
first, a couple of housekeeping things. Who wants to do the recap? Anyone? Any takers?
I gotta give the people a chance who don't have
Yeah,
inspiration.
To be honest.
You forgot everything from 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Got everything except
Usually happens to
the
me.
fact that I pissed off a vampire.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll
Made
do it.
attack us
I can
as
do a
well.
recap. I'll
Wait,
do
and you're the reason we're in combat? Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of remember that one.
So this is my interpretation of what I remember
The recap.
of the last game. So I think that we were camping over with our sheep and pigs and our like the people we just found were like the knights of something or
Helm.
something.
Helm.
Yeah. They were like worshippers of some god, of
Helm.
order or something.
Helm.
And there's like some
Helm.
other issue with yeah, and then that god was mad at Thornbur's god for some reason. I don't remember. I think
Killed
you guys
his
were
lover.
whispers or something.
He killed
I don't
his
remember.
wife.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. And then we looked into the horizon, and there's like this lady, like, or it was a guy. It was a guy on a horse, and he was like on his horse, fleeing from something, and it like,
In the middle of the night.
and we heard like a scream or something, and a light, and they fell over, and we investigated with the group.
It was cool. It was spooky.
Yeah, it turned out to be vampires. Or at least that's what we assessed because we looked at their necks or something and it looked like their blood was being sucked out. Somebody assessed it, I don't remember. Then we went back to camp, we told them what had happened and that it was on their way because I think they were going to travel to that town. Yeah, I don't remember the town name.
Barge right in.
Yeah, that's right. Or it was, you had to go through that other town with the vampire in order to get to Barge right in, right?
Womford.
Womford.
Yeah, Womford, that's right. And then, so we ended up traveling with them because we were like too spooked and we didn't want them to go getting themselves killed or captured or something like that. So we decided to travel with these pigs and sheep and people and
Helm.
all these different things.
Helm.
And Helm. Helm on our backside. We decided to go to the town of Womford.
We're
where
not.
we
We're
were
not actually
ambushed.
there. We're not
Wait,
actually in
no.
Womford. We're still
That's
in
right.
a camp.
We slept outside the town, and
We're not outside the
during
town.
No, we never went into town yet. It was on our way.
We're close. We're traveling on the road to town, and we camped out. And there was a man. He came with a bunch of doggos, and he made the doggos attack because of somebody. I don't remember.
We're
I think it
still
was-
at our
Belfrian.
original camp.
Oh, we're in the
Belfrian.
original-
We're still at our original camp, which we left to check out the light, and came back.
Did we?
Yes.
I thought we traveled a little.
No, we had a day of travel after that.
we
No, we
traveled.
did travel.
We traveled to the road where we saw the guy getting trampled with the horse.
No. We traveled.
We did.
I remember the
We
travel.
did not. We
did
traveled
not
to.
travel.
Yeah, no, we have not moved from this spot.
Really?
Literally,
Are you sure?
we traveled to the road, and then we came back to our
Yeah.
I don't
very
think
camp.
that's right.
100%.
No,
No, I think Ryan's right because I think we went down. We had a day of travel down south because I had a day of talking about Lathander with the Helm guy.
Yeah.
That was before the vampire thing, though.
No, because the vampire was like how we
yeah,
started.
that was
Joe, we
before.
traveled.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait,
You
we did
definitely
travel.
We did
Okay,
travel,
We did
huh?
travel.
Yeah, that's right.
We traveled after the whole vampire thing. We started traveling with them. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
still
travel-
Belfrien's fault, though, that we're in combat.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the important
That's
thing.
what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, Belfriend did some.
She wanted to talk to the wolves.
Yeah. I talk to animals. That's what I do.
So do I, but sometimes there's a right time and a wrong time to talk to animals.
The vampire beguiled our friend, was attacking you all and killing you, and everything else is dead.
Yeah,
then we
she
killed all
hit
the
hard.
doggos.
Keep her banished.
I can't. Up for a minute.
Yeah. So yeah, the last place we left off was right. Balabar was standing atop the caravan. Well, not the caravan, but the actual covered wagon that the Helmites were using in a nightly basis, basically to keep Koros, bedridden, so that way his leg can properly heal, so he's not bouncing around on some elk's back. And then number two was, had provided a place for them to sleep as well, except for Gideona, who apparently never slept. So a couple of things I wanted to just show you guys. This is what Arik looks like. That's the vampire that Belfrion had actually met. So at this moment, only Belfrion's actually familiar with his appearance. And then in terms of the people that you are with, this is Jax Brightmantle. He's the leader of the three Helmites that you're traveling with. Okay. And let me know if you don't see those images, by the way.
I see.
Here's the young knight that is with Janice and Gideona. His name is Janice Willamoss. So he's kind of like a young half-elf man. He's the guy who's kind of learning to cook from Balabar. He was the guy who was preparing the meals on the road for them. And then the last person, who is the person that just got banished, who you never saw her face, is Gideona. And that's what she looks like. Definitely a female, because you can hear her voice.
But she has some broad shoulders.
She's got some broad shoulders. That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's extra planar and she'll never return.
Yeah. So you more or less you have a minute to do what you like, but let's put you guys back in initiative order here. Oh, apparently the initiative order got reset, so I will just ignore that for the time being. But you hear the door to the covered wagon kind of like slam open, and then you see Jax Brightmantle, and he's got his head in his hands, and he seems to be holding it, and he looks like he is almost like reeling, like he looks kind of confused. His eyes are squinting. He's not bleeding or anything as you guys take a quick glance at him, even though it's kind of dark. But you do notice he kind of stumbles out, and he's dragging his sword with his right hand, like, it's kind of dragging along the ground into the dirt. And he almost falls to his knees outside the covered wagon. And you hear him say, "Oh, what happened? What's been going on?" And he kind of like puts his hands up, and he looks around at the rest of the group, and he seems really, really confused.
We don't have long. Gideona, we might have an issue here. She's gonna be back soon.
Gideona, has something happened? Where are all these wolves from? And he's looking around at all the dead bodies of wolves all around.
They just attacked us.
Belfrion brought him.
It's a long
They are
story.
minions of the vampire, Arik, and Gideona was placed under his enchantment.
He's trying to get his bearings, trying to make out what everybody's saying. Is that wall of fire actually still there? Thornburg, you're still concentrating on it?
Eric,
He's gone.
Did we lose Eric again?
he's muted.
Oh no.
There you go. He was talking.
Eric?
Eric.
Come back to us.
All right. We're just going to assume that he is actually still concentrating on it, because I have the so it's casting this like fiery glow over the entire scene, and he's like, Jax Brightmantle says, where's Gideona? Where is she now? And he seems very concerned, and he kind of like half draws his sword, but he still looks like really confused. His face is just contorted.
She'll be back in a minute. Don't worry.
What's
says-
wrong with you?
He looks up, finally noticing Balabar for the first time, and and Kareem, you get the impression just from your passive insight alone that he doesn't seem normal. And when he sees Balabar for the first time after you say that, he says, where is she? Did you do something? Where is she? Is she coming back?
I just said she was. In a minute.
He says, did you send her somewhere?
No.
And he seems very confused, and he's starting to get his bearings a little bit more as he's looking around. So you didn't send her somewhere?
Oh, I'm just waiting for you to catch up to what the other said. I'll give you a minute to, settle down.
He doesn't seem to like that answer, and he says, if you sent her somewhere, it'll be your head gnome.
I'm still gonna prepare for when she comes back.
It's
tackle
like
her.
you expect her to return, because this whole exchange, you only have her gone for about a minute from the banishment spell. But Balabar, you notice that something's wrong. You don't feel like you have a connection to wherever she may be. How many times have you actually cast this spell in the past? Would you say?
Oh, this is the first, yeah.
This is the first time. All right. So you're not really sure how to explain it, but you don't feel a connection on bringing her back.
That sucks.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going to say anything.
And 3, 2, 1. Time's up. The minute passes. Gideon does not return.
Is there there's like a portal that forms, but nothing happens, or how does it
No,
work?
nothing at all.
happens.
Nothing at all happens.
I go to the other side, away from him, on top of the cart.
All right.
What's wrong?
Has it been a minute yet?
He says, "What do you mean a minute? Where is Gideona?" And this time he's pointing his sword. He's kind of leveling at all you guys.
You put that sword down.
1 sec.
He says, "You tell me where she is now, or we'll have words to share."
She was attacking us. So
Go ahead.
she was under the enchantment of the vampire. We were only defending ourselves and
Everyone else?
banished her temporarily, or at least I think temporarily.
When you say the
Balabar.
word banished, his eyes go a little wide, and you almost see him like kind of he ignores the fact that you said vampire, and he kind of goes down on his knees. He says, "Yeah, you banished her. You banished her." And you see that he drops his sword at his side, and he puts his head in his hands, and he starts sobbing.
I've been banished before.
Yeah, but you're from here, I think, is the difference.
Where? What is she? She didn't sleep.
He says, "She's not from this place. She's not from here. If you banished her, she's gone forever."
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Wait, what are you talking about? I've been banished. I'm not from here either.
He looks up between teary eyes and he says, "She's not from this plane. The prime material. She comes from another place."
Which one?
Where?
You're so fucking casual. Which one?
I'm curious. I've read some books on planar travel. Yeah, which one?
He says, he sobs. He thinks for a moment, judging whether or not he should tell you. You can see like the consternation, the furrows in his brow, and then between teary eye, he says, "The nine hells.
Oh shit! I think we fucked up, guys.
She's an Arrhenius, repentant, and you just summoned her back to her home plane, and now she's gone forever."
Oh shit.
Not forever.
So you can make an Arcana check on what an Arrhenius is. Oh yeah. So
Tell me
Awesome.
everything.
Oh, you beat me.
So an Arrhenius is basically a
The devil.
servant to the devils. They are pretty powerful. They're kind of like they're always female. They're these elite warriors. They wear full plate. They typically have a whip and a sword and wings and very devilish in appearance. They are basically kind of halfway between lesser and greater devils, but very, very disciplined warriors.
The evil?
They're kind of like they're definitely evil because they come from the Ninth House. Yeah. And basically the legends say that the first Arrhenius were actually angels that fell from the upper planes because of temptation or misdeeds.
Just like
So-
Devil Man.
So throughout throughout history, there are many stories about Arrheniuses, willing to take advantage of being mistaken for celestials because of their wings, in their missions of conquest and corruption.
Can you tell us this?
It's not the right time, I feel, to relay all that, but I'll nod sagely. Yes. I see.
And then
Most
he looks up
unfortunate.
and he says, "What's this business about a vampire?" And then Zerana, you notice that Jax has got like splatters of blood all over his right arm. You think you even see a little bit of hair.
Jax, are you all right?
He says, he looks up, his eyes still teary. He gives Balabar a very, very nasty look, and he says, "What do you mean?" He says, "You just banished my best friend."
You got a little hair right there.
And blood. Are you bleeding?
He looks at his arm, noticing it for the very first time. You see his eyes kind of go wide, and then he says, "Janice!" And he picks up his sword, and he begins to run toward the back of the caravan where the door is. And then as soon as he flings the door open, you hear him cry out, "No!"
I don't feel so bad sending his friend away now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. What kind of ragtag team did we just pick up, guys?
I'm glad we didn't leave these people with the psychos.
Thornbur rushes out of the tent after donning his armor. Says, "Is she back? Did I miss her?"
Yep, you missed her, bud.
Oh!
You
Thank
hear
God
him.
you have some clothes on.
You hear him kind of like
Start
shuffling
doffing
around.
my armor.
You're going to scare the children.
You hear him shuffling around inside the wagon, and he says, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong?" And you hear kind of like a loud slap inside the open door of the wagon itself. And then you hear him sobbing again, and he seems to be in between sobbing breaths saying, "Janice! Janice, no!"
I queue up another banish just in case.
What the hell is going on?
I'm running to check on this because I'm concerned because Koros is in there too, right?
Yeah, so you look inside, you get to the door, you see basically Jax. He is holding what looks to be the remains of Janice. Janice's throat is ripped wide open. You see that there's blood splatters everywhere, as if the guy's jugular was just ripped open and then he just bled everywhere. And
Holy shit.
totally under the feet of Balabar without him noticing at all. Koros is in the corner, and Koros looks like he doesn't even notice you come in. He looks catatonic. His eyes are staring directly at Janice. His mouth is agape, but aside from that, he's not responding to anything.
Does he have blood on him too?
Oh yeah, his whole face and upper torso is covered with spots of blood.
So his face, towards his mouth area, is covered in blood.
No. Well, no. It doesn't look like that at all. I get what you're trying to say. He does not appear to be a vampire.
Okay, good.
Does it
Just
look
checking.
like he totally just gnawed
He's
his
seen some
throat,
shit.
basically, because he's got blood all over his face?
He
Cherry
looks
slushy.
awake. You can tell that, but aside from the splatter of blood on him, it doesn't look like he's got any wounds.
What the hell?
Holy shit, we were attacked by a vampire or some shit.
That sneaky bastard.
He probably came while we were checking on the man on the road.
Or he attacked at night when we weren't looking. I don't know.
The vampire,
Well, we were
might have,
fighting
Watching the whole
the-
time.
the vampire might have
wolves.
affected him too.
Not while we were watching the wolves.
Oh, it must. I mean, it must
Probably
have.
just attacked.
Yeah, it must have happened just right now.
I'm gonna go inside and go up to Koros, put my hand on his shoulder. Koros, are you all right?
He's got like 1,000-yard stare, man. His mouth is open. He's even drooling a little bit.
Should I use the armor? I could
I don't
scream
see
at
how
him.
armor would help.
No.
Scream at him.
As you check on him, you can see that he is trembling.
I'm going.
This man wasn't built for war.
Oh, I mean, I've seen him in action. This isn't normal.
Yeah, his action sucks.
How about what are we gonna do with this this other guy who's now a murderer?
No,
What guy?
who?
You know, Jax.
We don't know if he did.
Jax, you did this?
Yeah, you don't get the impression that that Jax did anything. You see
Oh.
that he is crying over Genesis' body. He's pretty much incoherent at the moment. He's just in total mourning.
Ah, shit, this is crap.
I'm gonna try and lesser restoration on Koros.
Yeah, no change in demeanor.
Shit. I shake him a bit. Koros, get yourself together.
His eyes finally like meet yours for a moment, and he just says, "The horror, the horror."
I got this. I'm gonna push the run out of the way and I'm gonna slap him across the face.
His eyes blink, red welt appearing across his face where you just slapped him. He doesn't respond.
He's a lost cause. We should bury him with the dead.
No.
Well, oh, hey,
No.
that's a strong response, I think.
Hurry.
Show some
Escalated.
sympathy, man.
Escalated very quickly.
Gotta bring it in. Gotta bring it in.
0 to 100 real quick.
Bury them all.
Well, Jax.
Jack.
He slowly turns toward you. His eyes tear-stained and red and puffy. And he says, "I won't be needing this anymore." And he takes that book that Thornburg remembers seeing him reading,
Uh-huh.
and he slams it onto the ground. And then you see that he gets up with Janice's body, who looks like he died right in bed. Like I said, his throat all ripped out, and he's limp in his arms. He gets up with Janice's body, and he just like steps right on top of the book, and then right out of the wagon.
I pick up the book.
So you pick up the book, and what you see are it's an unmarked book. You notice that it's got no title, and it more or less looks like to you a leather-bound notebook. It doesn't look remarkable in any way, except that you see that the pages, as you're flipping through them, appear to contain proverbs and teachings of Helm. But there's also strange incantations in it that are in a language you don't recognize.
Hey, wait up a little minute, man.
He's gone. He walked right out of the wagon. But as you flip through the book,
I'm gonna put my hand up to Thornbar and say, just let them go for a little. I think he needs some time.
I mean, I know what it's like to beat yourself up. I don't want him to do that. That's not going to help anything. You guys saw.
Mm-hmm.
You guys saw me go down that path. It wasn't fun. I missed out on those fun Waterdeep parties and everything. I mean, I was just whipping myself in the parking lot. What kind of life is that? I don't want to see him go down that path.
I don't think he'll go down that path. He does definitely need some time.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, where's he walking?
Just outside
Where's he
the
headed?
wagon.
He walks outside the wagon. He puts Janice's body on this long fallen tree here. And then you see that he goes over to the side of the wagon where there's a shovel hanging. And he grabs the shovel. And he walks over to pretty much over here. And he starts digging.
I'll walk
Guys, this is
over.
not good.
I'm gonna help him dig. I don't know.
I don't feel safe. I'm gonna stay up here.
You have a shovel of your own, Zoro? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You have that mold earth.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is definitely able to speed along the process, and you see that although he's still kind of trying to be strong, he nods at you. He can't even get out the words "thank you," but you get the impression that he is thankful for your help.
I put my hand on his shoulders. We're digging.
And you're burying the wolves you killed. There is a ton of wolves here, my friend. How are you doing that? You have your own mold earth as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanna go to Belfrian as she's molding the earth. I wanna say, we could just burn the bodies.
We could do that. Whichever is quickest. We need to get after this vampire and make it pay.
What time is it?
Oh, it's late.
Of the night.
It's late. You can. It's a pretty cloudy night. There is some moon that breaks between the clouds themselves. It's pretty brisk as well. Like you can see your breath. So your impression is that the sun will probably rise in about 3 or 4 hours.
Eric, we can hear you breathing.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well,
I could chop down a tree, I guess.
get back to our watches, get back to bed, head to the Barge Right Inn. The vampire probably attacked while we weren't looking. Somehow.
It can turn to mist. It can.
And he probably got in the wagon.
Well, you can see that the wagon's windows are open. They're cracked slightly open, which is pretty normal. You remember seeing that last night as well.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, based off of somebody made a religion check, I believe, last session to find out more about vampires. I think it was Belfrin who succeeded. And you remember that vampires typically need an invitation to go into somebody's home, which technically the covered wagon may be.
So someone had to let him in.
Probably that dumbass in the corner.
Also, Jax does not remember at all what happened, which strikes definitely, I would say, Balabar is pretty weird.
Yeah, I suspect him.
So you can make maybe an Arcana check.
I don't.
Yeah. So no, you're not gonna know. Not with a 15.
I just suspect him.
I guess I'm gonna go chop down a tree.
You're chopping down a tree.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
taking my hand axe that I got.
Sure. There's some nearby trees actually within the vicinity of your camp. Well, one of them is actually on fire from the ring of fire that Thornver summoned before. But the flames are pretty much.
Keep getting higher, and it's gonna burn.
No, I mean the tree's pretty much.
Ring of fire. It's ring of fire.
I'm gonna use Mage Hand to bring my sleeping bag and stuff up here, and I'm gonna sleep up here.
Yeah, nobody's sleeping in that covered wagon anytime. It's like the blood everywhere. Jax is taking his time with the burial of Janice, and you notice that he has now laid Janice's body next to the hole that was dug with Zorana's help, and he takes out like a water skin off of his belt, and he is cleaning Jax's throat and the blood off of him. Not Jax, Janice. The guy who died.
Could we deduct from seeing Gideona be under control that the vampire could probably put more people under control? And could have done that to more people that we don't know about?
I'm sure that's how he keeps the town under his thumb.
It could entirely be possible. To be certain, you probably need to make a religion check using intelligence. It's a good guess, but not knowing much about vampires, you're not sure.
Can I make that? I'm proficient.
You're proficient in religion? Sure.
Yeah, I am.
I kind of said that to the group.
Because my culture is religious. But obviously my gods are much different.
Yeah, an 18. I would say that you think, and you're pretty sure, like 99% sure, that if the vampire was able to charm Gideona, probably charm anyone else as well.
Now, I was sure it was a charm. He was extremely good looking.
Well, I think the only person that actually saw what he looked like was Belfrin. So if Belfrin described him as extremely good looking.
I'm sure Belfrin would have said something.
Oh yeah, did Belfrin say she saw him? I don't remember.
Yeah. What did Belfrin tell us?
We're under attack, I think.
Under attack by wolves, and then what?
Yeah, how'd it happen, Belfrin? Did they just ambush?
Well, yeah, I was having a conversation with Eric. He appeared while I was trying to talk to the wolves.
It's a strong name.
It is. He was pale but handsome, with piercing blue eyes.
Sounds hot.
I was slightly attracted, yes.
I bet he doesn't rub. I bet he didn't rub any cream on you, though.
No. He had invited me to take a walk with him. But
That's where the cream comes in.
I felt a slight compulsion to do as he asked, but was able to resist.
Is he that persuasive?
Unnaturally so.
Interesting. Chop.
Wow.
That's why he must be put down.
Yeah, it sounds like we should finish our rest and in the morning maybe do some scouting.
Is the tree like almost ready to come down?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna yell out, 4!
Sure.
Ugh.
With your armor.
No.
Oh, jeez.
So you use any excuse to use it. Sure, it comes down. You have to trim the tree of all the extraneous branches, but yeah. With an hour of work, you're able to get it down.
Cream, why did you do that?
I'm going to make wood, I guess.
But green trees don't burn.
What? I just dropped it.
I just shake my head. Maybe tried wood to burn. Forget it.
You just
Get the burn.
you killed the tree for nothing.
Jax at this point has finished cleaning off Janice's body, and he steps into the grave and lays it very delicately. And then once he climbs out, you see that he gets on his knees and he starts praying in muttered breaths.
Well,
Tears are still streaming down his cheeks, but he is saying a prayer.
I want to join him, but he doesn't like my god, so me and Lathander are gonna sit this one out.
Okay, I'm gonna stop chopping and I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna try to comfort him by putting my hand on his shoulder, saying,
Hot.
"Loss happens, my friend. You know, I'm from a different country and I was banished from there. I had a family there, I had friends. I'm probably never going to see them ever again. I don't even know how I haven't even come to terms with that, really. So I know how you're feeling right now."
He looks up at you, still on his knees, and he stands up and he says, "Your words are kind." He says, "But I'm not sure that you truly understand how I feel. I've lost everyone. And while I'm grateful to have met you and your companions, I just don't see how I can continue on by myself."
I lost everybody too. And I haven't come to terms with it either. I don't know your path. I don't know where you're going to go, but I don't know. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. And I can't feel exactly what you're feeling. My people didn't die, but I guess I'm still dead to them, or at least I don't know. Actually, they could be dead. I don't even know.
He swallows real hard, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, and he gives a solemn nod, and he says, "I'll take the Hilltop family back to Wamford." He says, "Where I go from there, I'll have to think on it.
if it really was
Whatever you went through."
this
He stops.
vampire, then maybe we could avenge your friends.
Bro,
He says, "Vengeance is not Helm's way, but justice is.
then we shall
Says-
seek justice for him.
I will do my best to keep you all safe. There's no way I can sleep. I have to clean the inside of the wagon." He says, "If you could take your friend Koros out of there, protect him as you can."
I will.
He says, "If I could only remember. I don't know what happened when I failed in my duties." And he sighs and seems very disappointed with himself, and then he quickly kind of shovels the dirt back onto Janice's body to finish the grave.
I'm sorry. I go back to chopping wood.
Within just a few minutes, Jax is finished. Once he's done, he takes the shovel, leans it back, or puts it back on the peg on the outside of the wagon, and then he goes back inside. He tries to help Koros to his working foot.
I'm going up to
Yeah.
help him too.
Yep, and Koros, like I said, has not changed. He still seems pretty catatonic, but you do notice that he's able to move. Like he if you guide him, you can kind of move him around. So you're able to like kind of hobble him out of the wagon. I don't know where you bring him, but once you do so and he's completely out, Jax closes the door. Like he wants some privacy, is your impression.
Gotcha.
And then you see him shutter the windows as well.
I'm just gonna keep chopping and getting ready to put this wood on the fire. This green wood.
Yeah,
A lot of smoke.
you got a lot of smoke, yeah. Where are you, a Boy Scout, Kevin?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I am.
Maybe I go camping a lot.
Yeah. What are the rest of you fools doing?
Or maybe I'm just a forest gnome who knows these things.
From a desert, what do I know?
It's a weird looking cactus.
I'm gonna get Koros in a tent or something.
Yeah, you'll have to set up a tent because these tents on the map actually don't exist. So you did that. You did that within a few minutes. You're able to set up a small camp, and you bring Koros inside, and you lay him down, and he is just quiet and docile the entire time.
Pussy.
Just get some rest, Koros.
At this point, Jay Belfrien's finished with her burial of the wolves. It did take significantly long time.
Wait, I was making. Okay.
You took too long.
Oh, were you planning on burning them? Is that why you were chopping down the tree?
Yeah.
That's just how he mourns. He chops down trees.
That's how you process.
Yeah, I gotta keep working in order to forget.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to sleep. There's a lot on your minds. You can see, although it's pretty dark, like you get the impression that like, yeah, the sun will come up in like the next 2 or 3 hours, and it's just very. I don't know if you guys actually do plan on continuing, or doing a long rest again, because it was definitely interrupted by the combat. But you're having a hard time, deciding what to do next, or thinking about setting up a camp, or it's up to you.
Yeah, while they chop down trees and bury wolves, I try to go to sleep.
It takes forever to wake you.
Good luck.
I won't go to sleep again.
All right, well,
Need your
you notice,
punishment.
you guys hear Balabar kind of snoring quietly away atop the wagon. You can see the wagon occasionally like jostles as Jack seems to be cleaning it,
Masturbating.
masturbating or cleaning it.
Wow.
Belfrien, the thought comes to you that the horse that was pulling the wagon has long since run off.
Oh,
Just one horse.
Oh shit.
how far are we from? How many hours are we from the town?
Oh, you're about 8 hours.
Winter can pull it.
He's strong elk, able-bodied,
Oh.
handsome.
He's got a good record.
Well, I think we should keep our watch going for the rest of the night,
I agree.
and then in the morning continue on. I don't see. We can't let this guy stop us.
I lost track of who was next. I'll just go next. It's fine.
Yeah, I wanna be up when the sun rises. So just make sure, just wake me up before then.
Wake me up inside.
I think it
Okay.
was like someone first, and then me, and then Belfrien. I don't remember who was after.
Yeah, I was last, but
We were through 3 watches.
Bel-
You try to sleep. So Zorana,
Yeah.
Belfrien, and Balabar's already sleeping, but Kareem takes watch and then wakes up Thornburg, I guess, at dawn.
Mhm.
Is that the plan?
Yep.
Okay.
I guess so.
You try to go to sleep, Zorana. You find Koros. Like you just hear him like chattering his teeth, like as if he's shivering. And he does that pretty much like the whole night, the rest of the night, and it makes it really hard for you to fall asleep if you even do.
I mean, I would attempt to cuddle for warmth, but that's not Zorana's thing. She's
Winter
too
for-
shy for that. Yeah, I cuddle.
Winter
I cuddle
for
with Winter for warmth.
Why don't you make me a wisdom saving?
Wisdom saving throw. Me?
Yeah, sure.
Against
Yeah.
Winter's farts.
Oh, is Winter sleeping outside the tent or with you inside?
With us inside.
Okay. He doesn't seem to have a problem trying to sleep, although he occasionally uncomfortably shifts, and he kind of like snorts his impatience. But eventually, after like 30 minutes, 40 minutes of tossing, you finally are able to go to sleep. Although when your watch passes uneventfully, Kareem, you find yourself kind of pretty, decently tired. Your adrenaline is still up from the combat before, but as the sun begins to rise over the horizon and dawn approaches, you feel it's time to wake Thornburg up.
Okay. Wait.
Good morning.
Yep. Yes, your turn, man.
You
All
feel
right.
groggy, having only slept a couple of hours.
God damn it.
So I was talking to Thornburg, but
Damn it.
I mean, technically, I only slept a few hours because.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah. All you guys did not get a full night of sleep unless you plan on resting for the full amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna I'm not going to bed. I'm gonna stay up with Thornburg.
As the sun rises, Thornburg prays to Lathander and says, "Hey man, heard some wild stuff about you recently."
What? What do
No,
you mean?
to
What are you
Lathander.
talking-
I'm talking to Lathander. Hey man. Oh, I'm sorry, Kareem. I didn't realize you were still awake. When my eyes are closed, that means I'm talking to my God. But
Okay, I'm not going to bed. I'll just listen to whatever you say.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's not no secrets here.
Okay.
Oh, great. I'll start over. Hey, man. So, yeah. Those Helm guys told me some crazy stuff about you. But, it's cool, I feel like you gave me a lot of good stuff, so I'm cool, if you were wondering. But, I just wanted to catch your feeling about what's going on with this vampire, and that one of those guys told me that you don't really like the undead, so I'm wondering if I should step in here, and if that's something that is my responsibility. You don't really need to answer, I kind of just assume that it is, but just want to let you know I'm on the job.
You hear a soft in the background, and as the light of the sun rises over the sand, you can feel, despite the cool morning mist, no misty breath issues out of your mouth, and you feel this warm flush kind of, spread across your face, but in an inviting, peaceful, calm way. And as you open your eyes, you can kind of see the silhouette of Seraphina, and she whispers one word to you that kind of carries on the wind to your mind, and it says, Ludovic. And then you
I'm
see
sorry,
her
I don't speak Elvish. What was that?
and you see her fade.
What? I'm not speaking Elvish. What's wrong?
Oh, I told you, man. Eyes closed, talking to God.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I forgot.
But she said Lurovich?
Ludovich.
Ludovich?
That sounds familiar.
Gesundheit.
Why does that sound familiar?
Kareem, do you know what Ludovich means?
Joe,
Is
do
that
I know what Ludovich means?
You don't.
I've never heard of it. Sounds like a really nice entree. I'm kind of hungry, actually.
I don't think she was telling me an entree.
You hear the door open to Jax's wagon. He kind of glances over to you guys, and he says, "I'm gonna look for the horse." And you see him stomp off, and he seems to be looking at the ground, and he finds the horse's tracks relatively easily, and he walks off west.
Man, that must suck for that guy, right?
Yeah.
You have lost Thornburg? Oh yeah, you the whole town. I remember that.
Yeah. That was bad.
Yes.
But, you know, there's always a new day. I lost all those friends, but I made all of you friends, and
Right.
that, was nice. Not quite as good as, the family and love of my life who I grew up with for the first, 20 odd years, but you guys have been pretty good to me over the last month or whatever it's been. So,
Wait, you lost the love of your life?
oh, yeah. Yeah, she got squashed by a boulder.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus, the God that I know. Never mind.
Oh, he's one from your pantheon? Okay. Yeah, I was pretty torn up about it, but, I think it's time to move on. I've been thinking a lot about these things. It's time to stop beating myself up very literally about these things. So,
I'm still beating myself up.
What did you-
Thornburg? What? Go ahead.
I was going to say, what have you lost?
My whole family, my way of life, everything. That's why I'm here.
Did you just, what happened? Was it giants? Thornburg
It's a long
gets angry.
story. The short version is I held the slave, but she was my only
Witness.
witness to this atrocity that had happened to her. And when she left, I had no evidence to show for what had happened. And I got banished.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying about the banishment.
Right. I mean, we're going after the same person, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Nandar's sister.
Right.
Lady Nandar's sister. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. Been thinking about giants lately.
Yes, the giants are
vampires.
plaguing this world. They do bear a lot of importance, but trying to find her sister is very important to me.
Can I be honest with you, Kareem?
Have you been lying to me?
No, nothing like that. Come on, I'm the Zone of Truth guy. Come on.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that was a good time. I remember that.
Yeah. No, but this is the closest we've been to Nightstone since we left. And I've been thinking, I haven't heard from them since I sent that jackass Nandar back from Waterdeep. And I have no idea what kind of state they're in and what I did when I sent that butthole back to them.
Well, the Zentarum lady, she left and she ran out of the town.
Yeah, but
They're under war right now. Who knows?
I know. And this is the closest we've been since we left Nightstone.
You
But
want to go back a third time to Nightstone?
no, to be honest, to be honest,
Lucky bastard. Don't. No, I'm just 2
don't
weeks
feel good
preparing
about it.
Mumford, you bastard.
I don't feel good about it, Kareem, but I don't want to. If they're having trouble right now, I don't even want to know about it. I don't want to. I don't want to be plagued with that. We got so much shit going on up here. We're just trying to fucking bring some sheep back home, and when we find a fucking vampire, like, god damn, you cannot write this shit up. Like, it is ridiculous.
I bet there is no book in existence with any story even close to resembling what's going on right now.
Speaking of which, you see Roderick Hilltopple and several of his children pop out, and he says, he looks around and he's like, "What the hell has been going on around here? Why has that tree been on fire and all these mounds of dirt?" You hear Emmons' voice inside says, "I'll tell you later." and you see Roderick says, well, "We're gonna go collect the sheep. We'll be back." And considering it's still pretty much early dawn, him and his young children, like I said, they leave. Emmons says, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with them." And you see the hut disappear, and the other Hilltopple family members seem to be, just groggily waking up at this point. And Emmons says, "I'll keep them safe."
Yeah, they're probably just taking a piss or something.
And he walks in kind of a northern direction to follow Roderick and his boys to go get their sheep and pigs.
I think we should wake up everybody. I don't know.
Good luck.
Or we should wait. I don't know.
Challenge accepted.
They did
Yeah.
accept shifts, right? So
Yeah, I mean, it was a long night. Maybe we just let them sleep in.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Like, we gotta wait, Jax is off finding that horse. So, might as well just take an easy morning. We're gonna need the strength for this vampire, I believe.
I'm gonna try to make some breakfast or something. So I'm gonna go prepare shittily a meal.
Sure.
The thought of someone making a meal shittily wakes Balabar up.
What is that awful burning egg smell?
What are you doing to the bacon?
Where'd you even get the egg?
I keep them around. You never know.
Winter
When
lays
the right
them.
situation pops up for an egg.
I don't think you've ever actually made breakfast in this campaign before.
No.
So are you making a cooked breakfast?
Sure.
So
Why
why
not?
don't you make me a survival check?
I'm actually in incidents.
You know what? I just realized I haven't pooped in the last month either. I should probably go take care of it.
You have
pile
bowel
of
problems.
dung.
All right, you guys take care of your business. You're able to make a decent fire and pretty much not burn whatever food you managed to have. It's mostly just trail rations and things like that, but sure. Oh, actually, no. You do have some meat that was from the pigs. So
Yeah, I was thinking
Nice.
that too. Like
there's
whatever.
some thick cut bacon that you managed to put on the frying pan, and the smell of bacon begins to wake people up. Okay.
Remember, can I use some of your herbs for your alchemy or some shit, right?
Winter kind of stirs awake. Also waking up Zoran in the process. And you find that Koros is like this with his blanket, like kind of up to his chin, and his teeth are still chattering, and he is staring directly up at the ceiling of the tent. He doesn't look like he slept at all.
Koros,
Telling you, just bury him.
I'm gonna have to find out what's going on here. Maybe if I
Your
bring
man
this-
looks a little distraught. You didn't cuddle him last night?
Cuddle? No? It's not winter.
The poor man has seen horrible things. You didn't think to comfort him?
I mean, I don't know. I just. What would that do? I don't know what that would do.
You would make him feel warm and not alone.
I've never done this before.
Not asking you to go down on him. I'm just saying to give him a cuddle.
All right.
Well, I don't know.
All right, says Joe.
Not sure how to respond to that. You know.
I go to light my tobacco or my stone pipe,
You're out of tobacco, I thought.
and I'm
Didn't
out.
finish the last bit.
And I'm out. I just want to... God damn it.
Well, maybe I could help him, Zorana. I have this greater restoration spell. I just need to grind up these diamonds real quick. I pull out some of my diamonds and I start trying to use my mortar and pestle from my alchemy kit, and I'm trying to grind them up.
Oh yeah, that's not working, man.
All right, it's gonna take a little bit. Give me a second. Really getting into it.
Thornbird,
I don't think.
that's not how that works.
I don't think that works.
God, these diamonds are hard as diamonds.
Let the man take care of it. I take out my hand axe.
Cory, no! Stop it! Stop.
What?
Don't. You're gonna break your axe.
Yeah, you tear up your pestle pretty good, man.
Oh,
It's not working.
oh. Okay, I
Maybe
think that's going to be
Malabar has
something I need to buy.
Or maybe Malabar has some magic to tear it up.
I think
My
Barbara,
diamond
you're
crushing
awake.
spell? Yeah.
In
I
fact, everybody's awake.
Did we sleep enough to regain any spells from the night, or no?
Yeah, but for some people like Kareem, if you don't get the full night of rest, if you don't at least sleep another couple hours, you're gonna get exhausted.
Yeah, I thought about it and I'm taking it.
Okay.
I wake up refreshed and yeah, I'm not gonna try to climb, so I'll just misty step back down there.
Sure. You step off the top of the covered wagon.
I'll-
I
You
know
check
my-
on Kareem's bacon, and it's on the brink of burning.
Yeah, I'll run over and take it all.
Hey, what are you doing?
It's done.
I like it well done.
No, you don't. I promise. I promise you're wrong.
Fine, whatever.
Yeah. What you do, the guys who just woke up, you do notice that Jax's the door to his covered wagon is closed, and also the hut that Emin summoned last night is also not there. But you do see that the mother and the daughter of the Hilltopples, I have their names recorded here somewhere, are there, kind of sitting huddled together, just watching you guys, kind of talking to themselves.
I'm trying to give some bacon to Cora.
He does not take it from your hands. He doesn't seem like he is making any effort to try to eat it on his own.
Put it on your throat.
No. No. She's like hard blushing.
Oh god.
No. I think
Put
he
it on his
just...
throat, or in his throat.
I think he just witnessed someone die in front of him, and that this is a completely normal reaction to that.
I have a solution.
What?
I come up to this man.
He's I believe he's still in Zorana's tent.
I come up to this tent. To this man.
Sure.
I'm going to take my finger,
What are you doing?
lick it. So it's completely just tons of saliva on it. And I'm gonna stick it into his ear.
Why? What?
Kareem, do you know what solution means?
That's wrong.
I do not think this word means what you think it means.
He kind of like cringes, like you see his shoulders, kind of like you know.
Reaction!
Yeah, he doesn't react to it, but he doesn't like make any effort to try to push your hand away or speak anything or say anything in actuality.
I'm
So
telling you,
yeah,
we should
Yeah.
just bury him.
No.
and at some point, like
there.
after like a second or two of that, he doesn't even notice that you have your finger in his ear.
Okay. Well, obviously I took it out.
I'm like whacking
Come on.
Kareem's hand away. Like, get out of here. Solution.
That's it. I'm gonna go back to eating.
Yeah, you're almost burnt bacon, sure. So you got some bacon there, and your hands are kind of sweaty because you haven't had tobacco.
Oh yeah. Feeling the itch. The
Feeling the
urge.
itch.
Come on, Serrano. You have
All
to
right,
feed
so are you guys doing anything else for the rest of the morning?
Get ready to head out, or
Yeah.
All right, so you break down your camp essentially, and you do notice that the Hilltopples, they return tons of sheeps and pigs in tow, but Jax is not back yet.
Hope he didn't hang himself on some tree.
God damn. Don't say things like that.
That's messed up.
Just saying, he was not in a right state last night.
That's completely fair. But
Nor was I. Nor was anyone. Let's follow these tracks. And I'm gonna go look for the horse tracks. He said that he was going
Yeah.
after the horse.
So make me a perception check. Thornbur and Kareem only.
Nice.
And Thornbur?
Yep.
All right. So somehow you get a bad feeling. You recall when he left, he said, I'm gonna go look for the horse, and you saw that his hand. You remember back to that image of him leaving in that direction that the horse went. His hand was resting atop his hip, and you remember seeing a coiled rope there. And what Belfrine just said kind of makes you
think that.
think that could be totally a possibility.
I'll have Blinky fly up and start circling the area.
I'm running. As soon as
Okay.
I get a feeling, I run.
So you run in that direction. It's like open ground, and it's pretty much natural terrain. There is a road, but the road lies to the south. That road heads west toward Wamford. Without knowing what direction he went in or making a survival check on your own to actually like look for the tracks, a perception actually, to look for the tracks, you don't know what actual direction he headed in. You, Balabar, you send up Blinky into
I'm
the
seeing
sky,
through
right?
his eyes, yeah.
And you're trying to see through his eyes, so you can go ahead and make me a perception check, your own perception check.
Okay.
So, are you looking for the tracks, Kareem?
I have a question for you. Since it's technically using her eyes, rather, do I have the keen sight, so I have advantage, or no?
So, no, because
Okay.
you're technically using your own vision through the familiar's eyes.
Okay.
So I'm going to.
But if you command Blinky, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you command Blinky to search for him, then I would allow that.
Yeah, I'll have him do that then.
Okay. So you can make a separate perception check for Blinky. And so, sorry, Kareem, what did you say?
The first thing I'm gonna do is look for trees. How
Okay.
far is the nearest tree? How far is the nearest forest? Like what am like? Tell me the foliage.
So
around.
yeah, you don't really see much in the way of spots of trees around. 2 or 3 sometimes clustered together, but mostly this is just short brush and open land with a lot of like rock and hilly terrain.
You
Um,
cut out a little bit. You said what about the trees?
Occasionally you'll see about 2 or 3 together,
Mm-hmm.
spotted with some hilly terrain and rocks, but that's pretty much it. You don't see any forest.
Okay.
But you can make your own perception check to look for Jax's tracks. And in terms of the owl,
I just want to make sure I mention in the spell itself, it says that I use its senses and its special senses.
oh, okay, so good. All right, if that's the case, then that'd be fine. So then your original 18 would then count.
Okay.
Which I'm going to say is good enough. You see what you think in the morning light, the glint of armor.
I'll tell everyone where I see it so they can start heading that way.
Yeah, and it seems to be about a couple of miles away.
Yeah. So I tell you all, where it is.
I think I'm just gonna be the lost kid. So I'll try to make a survival check to see if I can find his path or something like that. But by the way, I just remembered I have disadvantage because I am exhausted.
You're not exhausted yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you continue to travel, you'll get exhausted probably in the afternoon.
Okay.
I-
Should I survive?
Yeah. Okay, good. So that's good enough. You're able to. Doesn't look like he was attempting to hide his tracks. You follow his footsteps, which seem to be in the same general direction as the horse, which you're able to follow pretty easily because the horse has horseshoes. And what you come upon is pretty much the same area where you found that Balabar describes to the rest of the party. Now, did you guys follow Balabar's directions and head in that direction?
Yeah, we
Did
probably.
anybody who actually did that and who remained behind?
Once I finished speaking the directions, I would have dropped my senses and gone with him as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably would be a good idea because you would need to guide them to that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
So who actually stayed behind them?
Eric did.
All right. Yeah, actually, that's a great idea.
There.
So Emin stays behind. And he says, "Don't worry, I'll watch him," and Koros too. And you guys head in that direction, and you pretty much, Kareem, you're the first person there because you ran off immediately. And what you see is there's the horse, who is just a horse. They never named it. He's a draft horse, so it kind of looks old but muscular, and obviously powerful enough to drag the covered wagon. But you do see, dread immediately washes over you. See that there is the body of Jax, pretty much hanging roughly like 3 or 4 feet above the ground. Looks like maybe he used the horse as leverage to get to a high branch on a nearby tree. And to your disappointment, you find him lifeless and hanging.
I'm gonna take out my hand axe and I'm gonna chop him down and take down the body.
The rest of you come upon the scene as you see Kareem taking down the body.
Oh God.
The fuck were we thinking, letting him go?
You guys saw him leave in the morning?
He said he was going after the horse. He followed the trail. I figured that he was true.
Shit.
Do you have magic for us? Maybe Thornbur has magic for this. Can I check the body to see if it's cold or stiff or whatever?
probably didn't happen that long ago, maybe a couple of hours. It's not stiff yet.
Mhm.
You can tell that it's quite, the neck is broken. You get that impression. So the distance that he dropped compared to his body weight and the height of the branch that he used and the noose that he made, his neck instantly snapped is your best guess.
This is bullshit.
They truly were his only family, I guess.
I lost my family. I didn't kill myself.
It's true.
Some people cannot be as strong as you.
I'm not strong either. I make jokes. I make silly comments all the time. That's how I try to handle it. Because I can't handle it. I turn to drugs.
It is better than this.
He could have lived. He could have tried. He could have done what I did.
You could have kept going.
God damn it.
We should bring him back and lie him next to Janice.
Yeah. Put him over the horse.
Let's go back to Thornburn. Maybe he has something.
Maybe we shouldn't, though.
God damn it. No, we can't just give up. I'm gonna carry his body over as fast as I can back to the camp.
Put it on the horse.
Yeah, you could lay it on the back of the horse. Horse is kind of, minding its own business. It doesn't even really respond to you putting the body of Jax on top of it. And you slowly walk the horse, or try to walk the horse as quickly as possible back to the camp. I think Thornbird did actually go with you, but because he's not actually in the chat right now, we'll just say that he stayed behind with Emin.
I'm back.
Hi,
Oh,
Eric.
he's here.
Sorry.
Technical difficulties.
Yes.
I don't know what you missed. What was the last thing you remember
I
hearing?
I just came back for you guys lamenting Jax
Jax.
killing himself.
Yeah.
I cut out right when you left to go find him.
Mhm.
But yeah, Thornbur's just super depressed about it.
Okay, I laid the body next to Thornburn. Thornburn, you have magic. You have divine powers and the gods and shit. Can you help this?
Well, I can only do that if it's immediate.
It was
can't
only
do it.
3 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean if it was a minute ago.
Can you try? There must be something.
I mean, I think we failed him long before this moment. We should have done more. I should have tried to talk to him.
I thought they just needed time.
It's not the same for everyone.
We'll be more aware next time. Hopefully there is no next time.
There is no next time for him.
It's true. Even if
Belabar, you know magic. What do you know?
Nothing that can help in this situation, I'm afraid.
Fuck.
yeah, he would have to be willing. He may not even want to return. If he took his own life, no magic can bring him back.
I'm gonna just walk off to the tree that I had cut, and I'm gonna just try to take out the stump.
Nice.
You start hacking away at it with your hand axe, cutting off splinters and pieces of wood, venting your frustration on it.
One of you able to
Steaks.
shape the
Make
earth?
steaks.
Yeah.
The vampire did this. Make steaks and we will take him out.
Best we can do is bring justice for them, as he said.
You see the Hilltopples look very morose. The woman and her daughter quietly crying. You lay Jax's body next to the mound where Janice was buried. And you start to use mold earth to create a grave for him.
Mhm.
Is that right?
This is wrong.
A lot of things are wrong. We've witnessed these sort of worse things than this. Maybe. But that's why we're here, is because we can carry on. You carry on for everybody else.
And get justice, as you say.
No justice will bring his life back.
No. Maybe it'll help his soul rest, though.
God damn it.
All right. Well, after some time, you're able to create a grave for Jack. A couple of you may lay. He's a pretty big guy, so a couple of you may lay his body in the grave and you cover him up with some fresh dirt. There's no tombstones or anything like that unless you wish to set something up.
Can make something out of wood.
Set his sword as a marker.
Yeah, he's got a sword and shield.
Do that
Although
for
it
each of
looks
them.
like he maybe left his shield behind. You could do that for each of them, sure.
And hang their holy symbol on it or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna while this is going on, I'm gonna look through the Jax's journal and see if I can find like a fitting proverb or like psalm or something like that to say as we lay them to rest.
Sure. You find a passage that seems to you to be somewhat fitting. It reads along the lines of, the meek need protection. The watchful eye of Helm guides all who are devout. The light before you is the path you must follow. And even in death, one must
I
persevere.
chose that one because it also mentions light.
Yep. And the last one, that even in death, you must persevere. And Balabar's suggestion of putting the shield and swords in the ground, overlaid with the holy symbol of Helm that Jax wore around his neck, a chain, makes a pretty suitable tombstone. Emin, in typical, uncaring Emin style, says, "Well, all right, we're ready to go."
That
Son
could
of
have
a
been me.
Guess so. But it's
But
not.
hey, you're still alive, right?
God damn it, Emmett.
So should we load up your comatose friend there in the wagon and pull it along?
Is it clean? I don't know if he cleaned it, to be honest.
He said he did, man. I believed him. I could hear him working on something.
Emin says, "I'm going to take a peek
Rope.
inside." And he looks inside and then he pokes his head back on it with a thumbs up. And he says, "Looks clean." And he says, "Maybe the Hilltopples should take a seat."
Yeah, let's get him in there.
And although they reluctantly agree to, pop a squat in the covered wagon where a dude just died, they do reluctantly go inside. And Edmund says, I'll stay here with them
That's fair.
and watch over Koros as well.
Thank
He
you.
says, yeah, not really sure what's wrong with him, but from what I could tell, looks to be magic.
I see. I knew it. I knew it was magic. It's not a normal thing. That means it's magic.
Well, I can try to dispel it tomorrow.
Where
Oh,
did
yeah, I
that
could.
demon go? I look at Balbar.
I shake my head. Don't look at me.
You're the one who sent her. Wherever. Where did she go?
To hell, apparently.
You sent her to hell.
Literally.
Generally, people go to just say, a small plane that's not connected to anything. But if they're from another plane, they go to that plane.
How do you
What?
get there?
To the hells?
Right.
There is higher level magic that I do not know currently that could bring you there.
Maybe we should send a message there or something.
We could try to do that in the future.
We'll write it down then.
If she's still not under a vampire's control in a different plane of existence
I'm
still.
sure the magic doesn't travel that far.
You
Uh,
never know.
actually, that spell that Zinfel sent a message to me with, that one, there, I don't think it always works, but I heard that it can cross planes. So I could try and send her a quick message.
See if you get a
Do we-
reply. An angry reply.
That does work.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't tell her friends are dead.
No, you tell her that they've passed away.
She might lose the will to be redeemed and go back to being a demon.
Well,
What, she was redeemed?
That's what he said.
she wasn't Irenaeus.
Oh yeah, I didn't share that part with you. Yeah, she was a demon.
Devil.
Well, more accurately, it's a devil.
Devil.
Devil, sorry.
Well, Jax told us all. He did say
That's true. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did say that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
I'm-
actually trying the sending.
I don't know. I mean, do we want to let her? Maybe you're right. Maybe
We should
maybe
have.
it's not. Maybe it's best to not let her know.
Let's not take that hope away, is all I'm saying.
Sorry
Also,
for sending you to hell. Your friends are dead. Like, how do we make this nice?
Yeah, I only have 25 words. I don't think I can do it in that short time.
I mean, that's a short amount of words.
Yeah.
Vampire killed your friends. Also charmed you, probably.
LOL.
Lol. Bye. How's it going?
Emoji.
How's the weather down there? Or up there,
Expect
actually.
my edible arrangement.
Emoji.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we don't. I think we have just as good a chance of making her an enemy if we do that, and we don't need that. We don't got time for that.
We didn't do anything. What do you mean?
I just mean, like, we banished her, and then her friends are dead. She
Yeah.
might not be happy with us. She's a devil. I don't know. Do they have short tempers? Probably.
Yeah.
Don't be racist at a moment like this. Come on, Thornberg.
I mean, it's
That's
plainest.
racist.
She could be on the cusp of just going back to her hellish demeanor. So let's not
Screw all of this.
I'd hate to say the
Move
other
on.
part, but yeah, it's also possible that the other devils could see that she betrayed them and is,
Currently, never mind. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, so let's just go.
Womford to Womford.
So So, Roderick Hilltopple and one of his other boys kind of stays on the outside of the sheep and pigs that are following essentially the covered wagon. that is being led by the horse, the draft horse that you brought back. And you guys connect back up with the road, then you continue west. It's a pretty dreary day, not only because of the events of last night and this morning, but also because the sky is overcast, the air is colder than usual, and also kind of really misty, and just makes your clothes stick to your body. But the journey to Wamford is a slow, ponderous pace because you have to keep you got to keep in pace with the animals that are being brought along. But after you would say about 8 hours, you get to Wamford at about 4 in the afternoon. And then let me bring you to the Wamford map.
It's black.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Bird
Nighttime
has been
there.
destroyed.
No?
Beautiful city.
Let's that should work.
There you go.
There you go. And let's see. Let's try to put some different music in here. Some ambience. A little bit of river, a little bit of rain. All right.
And Eric, this Eric guy, he's from Barge Right Inn, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
he's
where he
at
was.
Barge Right In. Yep.
Who?
Okay.
Eric?
Yeah. Eric.
Well, actually, you're not 100% sure. Just based off of what Belfrin actually said during her conversation with what he told Belfrin during their conversation last night. Yeah.
That he had the town under his control or something.
Yeah. So you're kind of approaching from the east. You can see the first thing you see are several houses that kind of are along the Destern River. The bottom left map of the village of Wamford is actually to scale. Meaning that the Destern River itself is pretty wide. It's about 150 feet. And you can kind of hear it even in this distance in terms of the rushing of the river. And yeah, you are coming from the direction as you pass an old abandoned mill. You're kind of coming from that direction that Kareem is indicating with his arrow. You see a large slope-roofed church that looks like it has seen some better days, surrounded by a low stone wall that hides a few trees and other kind of stone houses, similar to like what you would call, family mausoleums, where bodies are interned there along with numerous gravestones. And the town seems practically abandoned. You see that there is almost no one out. You can spot a couple of kids kind of not actively playing, but kind of standing on the shore of the river itself near what looks to be a large mill house. And in the far distance, maybe approximately you would say to the northwest, you see a large hill with what looks to be a walled town atop of it, with some spires kind of sticking up, spire-like buildings sticking up out above the stone wall itself of that town, which you can only guess is Barge Right Inn. And then near it, approximately to the east of that, far in the distance, you can kind of see what looks to be a wooden bridge that spans the two banks of the Destern River. Immediately when you come into town from the road and you pass by the old windmill, you can see that there is what looks to be a wooden signpost, and there is some rain-soaked messages kind of like nailed to this board with these rusty nails. And from what you could tell, there's a few sheets of paper there that seem to have some messages. You guys want to stop and take a look, or just ignore it and keep going?
Hell yeah.
All right. So the first thing you notice is that one of the signs indicates that it's written in really bad common by somebody probably pretty or almost close to illiterate. Yeah. You can see that the letters phonetically make out the words Father Munter looking for missing daughters Lily and Daisy. That's all you see. And then the second one, because there's really only two messages on the board, is what looks to be a fancier kind of handout. I'm sorry, there's a third one as well. The fancier handout actually shows, from what you can tell, it says the Wamford Bat, wanted, information, reward. See Ludovich, old barge right in.
Hey, Kareem, that's the name.
What's the name?
Ludovich. That's the name
All right.
Serafina told me.
The entree.
The third poster on the board is relatively old as well, and it's the wanted poster for Warvel, the Weevil Forkbeard.
This guy.
Oh, this guy.
I remember that. I've seen that before.
You know,
No
Not
signs
really
for
a first
dragons.
nickname, the Weevil.
So while you guys are thinking about that, why don't I give you guys a quick break? We'll break until about 10:50. Is that enough time
Yep.
Mhm.
for you guys? Cool. Okay.
Uh,
So,
real quick, Joe, you said Lily and Daisy were the names of the
Millie.
daughters?
Millie.
Millie.
yes,
and-
Lily and Daisy,
Oh.
and the guy's name was Father Munter.
Munter. Okay, great. Thank you.
Do I have exhaustion now?
Yeah. You are tired. You are barely shuffling your feet in front.
Okay.
Got it. Go hang out in the murder wagon.
I would say that if you take like a 2 or 3 hour nap, it'll go away. Or obviously a long rest. Oh, but he stepped away anyway. All right, so like I said, take a break. Feel free to come back 10:50.
Great.
And
I got a pair, guys.
A pair of what?
Got him.
Nailed it.
Pair of eyes. How'd you like my performance? Please rate me out of 10.
Your performance of being upset about the suicide?
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean,
It was
it was a
great.
huge, long roleplay scene anyway. The whole thing.
Yeah, that whole scene was like our game.
Which I'm okay with.
Me too. I love a good RP.
Same. I have mango.
Yeah.
Mango. Ah. I don't think I did this right. I don't actually know how to cut a mango without peeling it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, we
Cutting
saw some
mangoes
children,
suck.
so this place must not be totally abandoned, right?
Yeah, it seems like this vampire like hasn't taken control. He just is
Or
like
maybe-
cleaning them.
A lot of the people here
I mean,
were
if he's
captured by him. I don't know.
probably. If
I mean,
he's
the
taking
fact
control
that-
of the inn, wouldn't it be safe to assume that some of the people here too are like,
I don't think he has though, because
No, yeah, the inn was sending people for help.
yeah, exactly. There wouldn't be the wanted sign.
Or it's a trap. You guys, it could be a trap.
No, I
Yeah.
think we
I
should
don't
go to
think-
the inn.
I trust it because Serafina told me that name,
that's true, that's fair.
so
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
just 'cause
trust
he-
it.
Just because he said the name doesn't mean that poster right there is not a trap.
Also, the person who was running away on the horse had a note saying to seek help from the inn.
From Wofford?
I'll cast Zone of Truth on the sign.
That's a good idea.
Get to talking, son.
I knew it.
Maybe
If
animate
the sign
object.
talks.
I'll animate object, and you can talk.
Oh man.
Cast Zone of Truth on the sign. Is that what it heard?
Strategy.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
I heard something about this scene, that scene being similar to something that happened in another game.
No? Did we say
I
that?
think it's all that.
Oh, I thought I thought I heard Ryan say like, "Oh, that's just what happened." It's like 5 minutes ago.
Oh no, he was saying that the scene of him mourning was
Good roleplay.
No. I should that whole scene that we did
hair.
was like the whole game.
What do you mean?
Like- Since we've woken up, that's like that whole scene.
Oh,
Now
you
it's
mean the whole
been-
session for tonight? Yes,
Yeah, it's
you're
been,
right,
it's
you're
been
right.
a session.
Yeah. Is
Fuck it, I'm gonna
is
peel
the
this.
music too distracting? Let me lower it a little bit.
Clearly, we take NPC death very seriously. In this group.
Well, I think that one in particular struck a chord with Kareem. I don't know about you guys.
I don't know, Ryan. A lot of things struck a chord with you lately.
I was tempted to cast
That's
Detect
what-
Magic and see if he had useful things on him, but I thought you might oppose that.
I
Probably
so resisted checking them for loot.
I'm very pragmatic.
I also resisted casting Reincarnate on them.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, they come back as a squirrel that wishes they weren't alive.
All right. So, couple things you notice as you're kind of standing at the signboard reading them. So anybody who's not kind of focusing their attention on that, you get a chance to look around town a little bit. You see that there is a sign kind of right here on the map where the road bisects kind of northwest and southwest, and it looks to point in just two directions. One sign to the southwest says Tariga Supplies, and the sign to the northwest says Spitfire Inn. And then you see smoke actually coming like from a chimney from in the direction of the sign that said it was pointing towards Spitfire Inn. And then far in the distance, you think you can see what looks to be 3 docked ships as well, riverboats. They do have sails, but they're relatively, roughly about the same size. They look like they're maybe about 20 or 30 feet long. And they're mixed in with a few other smaller kind of like river canoes or types of small boats like that.
I wonder if Tariga's Supplies has diamond dust.
We could check.
Let's go find
Yeah,
out.
let's stop. We need supplies.
Just real quick before we go into town, I'm going to go take a piss. And I go step aside and cast Death Ward on myself away from the party.
So you cast Death Ward on your dick, essentially.
It is the source of all my power.
Yeah. And to the north and south, you can also see that there are farms. And the farms look they look like they're growing. You know, they're in stages of starting to grow. You're only kind of like in the monthly equivalent of May. Actually, the exact date for today is Kythorn the 6th. So these farms look like they just pretty much started out, but the town is being tended. It's just that currently, due to the drizzle and the gray, day, you don't see really anybody outside.
I think the first order of business is to getting these people back to their home.
Oh, except for those 2 kids playing on the shore. Yeah, Roderick Hilltopple says, this place doesn't look all that welcoming, but hey, it's as good as any. Perhaps we should head over to the Spitfire Inn, and he points to the northwest. At the
Shouldn't
lay
you
of the
want
land.
to go home and see your house?
I'm not from here, he says.
We're bringing them to a safe village.
Where were they? I thought they were from Mumford.
Right. So
Wait,
you
where the hell are you people from?
No, you recall him saying that his farm got destroyed by the Hill Giants before he was taken prisoner, him and his family, and taken to Grudhawk. So they actually had a farm by the hills, by Sumber Hills.
Mm.
So they're resettling essentially.
Okay. I got it.
Did you want to go to the store first before we head to the inn, or what?
Edmund says,
It's on the way.
I'll bring him to this. He says, I'll bring him to Spitfire Inn and take care of that. If you want to head to the store, I'll meet up with you later.
Okay.
I think Emin has a thing for these hin folk.
So he and the wagon. Oh, he says, what do you want to do about Koros? He says to Azarana. And he kind of has this like awkward look on his face.
Leave them in the wagon.
I mean, I could leave him in the wagon.
if you're taking the wagon with you.
He nods. He says, yeah, I'll just leave the wagon outside the inn. and with a shrug, he kind of takes the hill topples and Koros on the wagon and the horse in that direction as it plods slowly through the muddy road.
Koros is going to be our weekend at Bernie's character from now on.
What?
You ever seen Weekend at Bernie's?
The game?
He's not dead yet.
The movie.
But let's head to the store.
Yeah. So you guys head along what looks to be just called Old Windmill Road, and you pass by kind of a decrepit-looking house that seems to have seen better days. And then the second house from there is a small, what looks to be general store called Tariga's Supplies. You can see that the sign is the building is relatively well maintained. The sign kind of like creaks above a signpost on the door. It looks to have faded painted letters written on it in common. And as you walk inside, you can immediately you're hit with a smell of incense or some sort of candle burning, and you see a friendly-looking human woman with kind of tanned, wrinkly skin, and wearing like a bandana and wearing also what looks to be like some sort of leather smock, standing there, and she seems to be marking stuff in a ledger and pulling what looks to be odds and ends out of a box and keeping track of them. As you guys approach inside of the store, you hear a little bell chime go off, and she looks up and she says, welcome. Oh, hi. Whoa, a lot of you I see. My name's Tariga. This is my shop, Tariga's Supplies. Is there anything I can do to help you?" And she seems to stop what she's doing and she puts down her quill.
My friend here needs a lot more weed to smoke.
Hey, tobacco. Do you have tobacco?
Yes.
Sure, tobacco.
There's a couple of the local varieties, but we have some if you're interested. She says, "How much do you think you'll be needing?" And as you're looking around, you can see that this store is filled with tons of shit. You see that there are several rows. You can tell her a fuck ton. It's kind of like walking into a 7-Eleven or a bodega that literally sells like everything under the sun.
There should be diamond dust here, right?
I just start looking around for spell components and stuff.
Most of the stuff, as you're kind of looking around, you see is run-of-the-mill job of shit. You see baskets, so pretty much anything that you can find in the player's handbook, short of potions of healing, are here. And if you're looking for something specific, you can always ask Tariga.
Ooh, arrows.
But she says, yeah, you do find arrows. No problem. So Tariga says, well, I have a couple of local varieties of tobacco if there's anything in particular you're looking for. Nothing that's going to knock your socks off, though. She says, for that, I think you'll have to, come to think of it, there was a pipe merchant that recently passed through town. She says, was a gnome. What was his name again? She tries to think for a moment. Had a little pet white mouse. I think he called himself Grundig. Might have headed on his way to the old Bardrite. If he didn't stop by the Spitfire Inn first.
Ah, shit.
Well, we heard of this guy. You have any diamond dust by any chance? Is that something you carry in this modest abode of yours?
As she pulls up a couple of tins off of the shelf behind the counter, she says, diamond dust. She says, well, not something that I usually carry a whole lot of, but yeah, I think I do. She says, I can manage about, well, depends on how much you're looking to spend. She looks at all of you guys, she says, you folk are the adventuring type, aren't you?
How could you tell?
Is it our bloodstained clothes that give it away?
Farmer.
He says, well, aside from the smell of the road on you, depends, obviously the blood-stained clothes, yeah, I think so. You'll probably be looking for a bath at the Spitfire, but I got about 200 gold worth if you need it. If you have the money to spend, that is. And she kind of gives you a little squint.
I look and smile at Zarana, who I believe has the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Give a wink to the lady.
I think we can manage.
We can.
All right. Let's see the gold then. And she pulls out 2 tobacco tins and she says, now here are the 2 varieties of the tobacco I carry. This one's called Sherman's Red. Try not to eat too much of this stuff. She says, try not to smoke too much of this stuff as it stains your teeth red.
I don't eat this. I smoke it.
She did say smoke. Joe said eat, but she said smoke. And she says, and this is the finer stuff. Cambridge's finest is this variety here. And she opens up both tins and kind of waves them off in your direction one at a time. And you can see that the Sherman's Red smells better, but it appears to be a red leaf tobacco. And as she warned you, smoking it might have the effect of staining your teeth red. The other one, which smells strong, but not as sweet as Sherman's Red, is Cambridge's finest.
I think you look good with red teeth.
You notice that there is a little tag on the tin that says 5 gold per ounce for Sherman's Red and 10 gold per ounce for Cambridge's finest.
Holy shit, this is expensive.
Very fierce with red teeth, I'm telling you.
As they say in my part of the world,
Well-
this is some dank stuff.
Let me preface this by saying an ounce of tobacco is a ton of tobacco. Typically if you're buying an ounce, you're buying a lot.
It's like a brick.
Yeah.
It's loose leaf too, so
Kids before. I know what an ounce is.
I know how much.
Not
an
Earth
ounce
Mother's
is.
bounty quality. But
I'll take an ounce of the good shit.
what would be the good shit?
Whatever the expensive one.
Cambridge's finest. Pleasure doing business with you. And she starts measuring. She pulls out what looks to be like a little scale, and she starts measuring an ounce out.
So
Now, will you be needing a pouch with that, or you have your pouch of your own?
I got my own.
She nods. I just set it there on the counter. And you have that money for that diamond dust now. I think you're on mute, Eric.
I said yep, and I put out my hands for Zorana to give me money.
I see that you already took it, so I'm going to.
I already took
give
it out. It'll be worth our while. You know that
I know.
charm, that thing that happened to Gideona back there. I can help now, twice with this diamond dust.
At least you're not getting any dream mist with it. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, you know.
Like sniffle
your
a little.
friends all drug addicts.
Only some of them.
I mean, maybe Eric's gonna do the diamond dust. He's not really gonna use it what it's for,
Not
Yeah.
the
The
diamond.
diamond dust.
I like how it burns.
You better not let me catch you doing diamond dust, Thornbear.
Never.
I don't even know if that's a thing
that
you
something you can do?
Die from it, but you can do it.
Cut your nose up, something wicked.
Are there any wooden shields about?
Yeah, you see a couple of wooden shields. Actually, I would say like 3 different wooden shields. They're kind of hanging up on the wall. One looks to be in the shape of kind of just like a standard kite shield. One is a round one with a rim of bronze with a kind of like silvery front in the middle. And then one of them is made entirely out of wood and looks to be kind of like a carved maple leaf type of shape.
Hey,
I like the round shield, but it might have too much metal on there for me. So I'll go with the maple leaf.
hey.
All right. So standard price for a shield, you see. And she takes it off of the wall. And she says, "You're more than welcome to try it."
Yes, I found myself being stabbed a lot lately. Figure I should gear up.
Hey, no lighting that up in here. She says, "You want to smoke that? You'll smoke it outside."
Okay, fine, whatever. Like I said.
She says, "Why don't you smell the incense?"
So, fine lady, do you have any information? Can you tell us about this Wamford bat that's been plaguing you?
So her eyes kind of go wide for a second. She says, "What do you know about that?"
Oh, there's a big sign right when you walk into town.
There's literally a sign.
She says, "We don't speak about the bat here. If you're looking for information, go talk to Ludovic. He's staying at the old barge right."
Okay. Well, we're here to help.
"How are you now?" She kind of gives you guys all squinty, suspicious looks. She says,
Give her
"Ah,
right
you look the
back.
type.
I start flexing.
Let's make sure you don't die." Says, "That's what happened to the last vampire hunters that decided to come here. You see that building next door that was all decrepit and falling apart?" Says,
Oh.
"Yeah, Fireball did that."
Oh,
Fireball
Well,
from
Fireball.
which party?
That's
Vampire.
The vampire hunters that came here about a couple weeks ago looking to take care of the bat, as you say. I think they scared themselves. Doubt they even saw anything.
You've seen worse. And on that note, do you have any fancy arrows?
Fancy arrows. Like what?
I don't know. What do you got?
I got some silver arrowheads if you want.
Yeah.
He says, "Not a whole lot of them though. Maybe about a quiver's worth."
Yep. I'll definitely take those.
Do you happen to have any other silver things?
She says, I got about 4 uses of alchemical silver. You can use that to cover a blade or something like that. Roughly about the size of a longsword, I think that would do. Says,
Kareem, that might be helpful for you.
I can't
Your
get you
mouth.
on my side.
Oh, I think that might be helpful for Kareem. How much is that? How much you charge him for that stuff?
For the alchemical silver, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She looks. Is that actually in the player's handbook?
No,
I don't think so. No.
She says, "Tell you what,
There
you
is a
folks
price
looking
for
to
it.
take care of the bat? Is that right?" She looks you guys all over, trying to get a reassurance. She says, "I'll sell it to you for 15 gold. Normally goes for 20. That's a vial."
Shit, I should have told you about what we were doing before we did any of these trades. Just kidding. Just kidding.
We could do that.
You sure you're a priest of Lathander? I think I don't recognize that holy symbol.
Yeah, priest is a strong word. He's my guy, though. Yeah, I think we could do the 15. I look at Zorana again.
Here you go.
Are we, is
You can
everyone
delete this.
destitute except for Zorana?
Well, she's just the responsible one. We had an old party member who just bought a bunch of drugs with all the money, and
Well, she tried to.
It-
She
it-
didn't
it-
actually. She tried to.
yeah, that's true.
I stopped it.
Jeez. I shake my head. Jeez.
I stopped it from
Um,
happening.
Just to be sure, you don't have anything like small objects, tiny objects of silver, or that's it. That's all you got.
Tiny objects of silver. What do you mean, like a statuette or a ring or something like that?
I don't care.
Cutlery.
Yeah, cutlery works.
You're looking for a silver knife or something
10
like
of them.
that.
10 of them, in fact.
10 silver knives. He
Yeah.
says, "No, won't have anything like that." He says, "But you could use some of the vials and make your own. I do have sets of knives."
In fact, you say it's what, 15 for a vial?
That's right.
And one vial will be enough to cover 10 tiny objects?
Let me think on it. Well, probably about 4.
Oh, all right. I'm good.
How much for the quiver?
Does that mean you're buying some?
No, I think that's, no, I'm good.
Fair enough then. She says, "The quiver itself, whatever the standard price is in the player's handbook.
For the silver arrows?
To silver, it's a
Oh,
plus
the
off.
silver
The
arrows.
silver arrows.
Ah, yes. Hmm. Triple the price of a normal set of arrows,
Which is
considering they're only single use.
true.
Silver is not much of a durable metal.
That's fine. There's no particular reason at all why we're particularly getting silver things at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ah, screw it. Here's 30 gold. Give me 2 of the vials.
All right, now we're doing business. And she looks like she takes out a key, unlocks a box from underneath the counter, puts it on the table, and takes out a vial of what looks to be mercury or some type of silvery metal, and she hands them to you.
Thank you.
She also, takes out a bundle of arrows that was not in the box, just somewhere located underneath the counter. And she says, here they are. She blows some dust off of them and hands them to Zorana.
Some diamonds.
The silver arrows, right?
Yeah, 20 silver arrows.
Okay, 20 silver arrows, and I don't know if this is right. It says 1 gold for a quiver of arrows, so 3
Yep,
gold?
so they just cost 3.
Okay, I'll do that from my own patch.
But they're single use. You can't reuse them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas the alchemical silver actually permanently makes something silver.
But it's a cover, so it doesn't weaken the metal, right? It's still
That's correct. Yeah, it's a cover.
good. I'll go put that on 8 pythons,
All right. Yeah, that would work.
and now I have 8 silver objects to throw at things.
Yep.
And then a quiver of regular arrows, too.
Yeah, that's just standard 1 gold.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, I took the gold out, Joe.
All
Here's
right.
your gold.
Fair enough. You see some other knickknacks around here as well. Just regular standard stuff. From what you can tell.
Ooh, should we get alchemist supplies?
Probably.
I'm running low. Just so I can keep making more potions. I haven't really been doing that lately. Sorry.
You
And
seem to have messed up your pestle there.
oh, you should probably.
Oh yeah, do you have another pestle? I showed my ruined one.
More
I do. I can give you that. I can give you that. She points out where it is in the store. Did you find it with some alchemical supply shit as well?
Okay. Could I get that and 100 gold pieces worth of alchemical supplies?
Sure thing. She writes you up
Zorana?
for it.
I smile at Zorana once again.
There you go.
Oh, have you ever heard
Mommy,
the
we
term
need
sugar
allowance.
mama?
I
I
have
look
not
at-
heard that term, but I guess now I have.
I'll look at Zorana. I didn't realize you have endless amounts of money.
I do not have endless amounts of money.
I
No.
took it out,
Okay.
Susan.
All right.
And how many more
All
of
right.
those silver vials do you have?
2 more.
2 more. You will take them.
All right. So you buy 2 more silver vials, and like I said, each one is equivalent to be able to cover a long sword type of weapon.
Mhm.
So you might need 2 vials for a pole arm, for example, but a vial is definitely enough to cover 4 daggers.
And what about the ends of a whip?
Normally one's good.
I mean,
Because there's
I don't
only
know.
I have metal attached to my whip, and I'd probably
Yeah, I would say you would need 2 vials to cover the entire
Yeah.
whip. If you're just looking to cover the end of the whip,
I would just cover the metal that I attach to my whip. Because I have all those hooks and stuff at the end of it.
yeah, sure. So 1 vial's enough.
So we still have 2 extra vials then.
You'll have 1 vial left. If you use it on the whip.
Right.
How many total?
We had
bottles?
bought one earlier.
Yeah,
Yep.
you bought 4 total.
Total.
We bought 3 total, I believe.
I bought
Right.
2. You bought 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were only a total of 4.
Oh, okay.
Did I say that? Or 5?
Oh.
No, there's only 4.
We did it confusingly. We bought it in many different increments.
That's fine. We have 4. We spent on 4. It's fine.
So we got 4.
We bought 4 of them.
Kevin Balabar used 2 on his
That's right.
Titans.
I don't have to if someone else needs them.
No.
We were just
My-
we were
my
just
sword's
planning on
not
buying
cool.
all of them. Period.
So we have 1 left. Okay.
So-
We have 1
okay.
left. Yep.
So we got 1. So Thornbird got 1. Balabar bought 2, and then I bought the last one.
Correct. Yeah, and you didn't use it on Kareem's whip yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
As soon as I get a chance, I will.
Well, thanks a lot, lady. We'll kill this guy and see you later.
Good luck,
Out.
she says. See you later. And the name's Tariga. Welcome back.
Pleasure
Come
to
back
meet you.
anytime.
Here you go, Kareem. And I hand him the silver
What is
metal
this?
stuff. It's silver
put it
stuff.
on your whip.
Belfrian says it's good for fighting vampires. You rub it on your whip.
Did she say
On
that?
the metal on the whip.
Okay. I guess I'll try that.
A couple of things when you walk outside, and you actually did notice this when you were outside smoking your pipe. There seems to be what looks to be a large outdoor oven. Just a few, maybe about 100 feet or so, from the actual Tariga storefront. Maybe for communal use. A couple of small buildings or residences. There was, the church across the way. And then also you saw that there was a statue of what looks to be a soldier, helmed with a sword, kind of, point down in front of him, his hands roughly at about hip level on the pommel of the blade. But otherwise, the guy was wearing like full plate with a helm as well. And then those kids were kind of like, playing, like I said, just to the left of the mill.
What are all the sheep and pigs doing?
Currently they're grazing about 200 feet north of you, 300 feet north of you, in the fields outside of the Spitfire Inn.
Is that where they went? With them?
Yep, that's right. They're like all along the coast, the shore here as well.
Okay.
Do I see any holy symbols around the church or the statue?
Yep. So let's pull up my little file here. All right. So you said that you were looking for symbols, right?
Mm-hmm. On the church and the statue, I'm just kind of looking them over a little bit.
Yep. So in order to take a closer look at the statue, you're going to have to actually walk up to it. The church itself, you see that you don't immediately see any holy symbol that you can tell. Oh, I lied. Never mind. You do actually see one. But you need to make a religion check to try to identify it.
Okay. Not my strong suit.
Not your strong suit. But from what you could tell, it looks to be a rose, and surrounded by green leaves, and that is surrounded by a golden circle, and it's painted pretty much above the lintel of the opening, the double door opening to the church itself, which is currently closed. So your religion check, as you're taking a look, you have no idea. You're like,
Well,
God of Roses.
yeah, probably.
Probably named Rosie.
yeah, I think it's probably the rosy god. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
And like I said, the statue itself, you're gonna have to walk up to it and take a closer look.
Okay. Hey, Belfry and Zorana, you guys like plants and things, and your gods like plants and things. Is that one of your symbols up there, you guys?
Take a long look at
You guys
the
like
statue.
roses?
Yeah, you can make your own religion checks once he points it out. All right, that's good. Yeah, you immediately recognize belonging to the goddess known as Chantea, who is the Great Mother, or otherwise known as the Grain Goddess, the goddess of life. It's a parallel deity to Sylvanus. Can you hear me?
You were lagging out.
choppy there.
Yeah.
I was
But
a little
I
choppy
did
there,
hear-
right? Because I heard the sound choppy in my ears as well.
Yeah. I
Um,
did hear it though.
You did hear it?
Shantae,
Yeah, it's Chantea.
Okay.
Yeah, so Thornbird, that's Chantea. That was the god in Golden Fields.
Oh, nice.
Belfrin would definitely also know.
Oh, yes,
Immediately.
she's the Earth
Yeah,
Mother
so
is my
when you-
goddess.
When you look up, you do immediately recognize this. Is that your goddess?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So obviously you immediately recognize it.
Well, that's
You
swell.
actually do also see. No, never mind. You don't.
Here's something I'll warn you, Belfrin, and I can get really serious. Be careful. Learn another priest, because I met this guy when I was worshiping Ilmater, and I thought, okay, he's a priest of Ilmater. He knows what's up. All he did was beat himself. Sent me down a real bad path. So just be careful, you know. Everybody has their own way of prayer. And if they do it differently than you, don't let it put you off. Don't, necessarily change your ways. Just
Thank you.
Yeah, brother Jacob. I remember brother Jacob.
Oh,
the lesson
yeah.
here is
Fucking
don't
brother
beat
Jacob.
yourself off.
Yeah.
He looks like
He,
a
While in
dro-
the middle of
he
the town.
drove you away from the faith completely.
he did. He did, really. He really messed me up, man. He was a creepy looking dude too. He had this real high and tight
Really
haircut.
Very, very friendly.
He looks like half the people I deal with day to day.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. Just be careful is all I'm saying. I can't get this image of this guy out of my head. It just burned in there.
It's as if
And his
his
goofy
picture
smile.
is sitting right in front of me right now.
I can see his goofy smile. It haunts my dreams.
Click the X. It'll be better.
Oh my god.
But that warning noted. You want to go in there?
Yeah. Wait, I need to train you in the ways of religion. Perhaps we should spend some time and I can show you some ways.
Sure. As long as it doesn't involve books, that's the part of religion I don't like.
Oh, don't worry. I only like books with pictures myself.
Oh wow. I like you.
I just shake my head.
I just keep the balance. It's not very hard. I can
Well, where should we go next?
Into the inn with the rest of the party? Is the wagon outside the inn? Is that where we're at? We're at the
Yeah, you do see, even from this distance, you think you can make out the wagon kind of resting in front of, or just parked in front of the Spitfire Inn.
Okay. so we're
Let's
walking
go
up
check
there.
in.
Actually, I'm sorry, that's a Spitefire. I just reread it. It's Spitfire now, god damn it.
Spitefire. Okay, fine. It's a Spitfire.
All right, is that where you guys are headed right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear off in the distance the kids kind of yelping and playing. It looks to be a boy and a girl. The boy definitely appears to be older. And as you guys make your way over to the Spitfire Inn, you can see that Emmons kind of just like sitting, his legs dangling off the side of the top of the covered wagon. And as he's there, he's kind of just looking at you guys. And he says, Hilltopples are comfortable inside. I think everything's all set, but Kuros is still, and he points down between his legs.
When are you going to take care of your friend?
I don't know how. I
You
assume
do also
that
see, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I assume
I'll
it's the work
help
of
him
the
tomorrow.
vampire.
I wonder if I could do the spell with this diamond dust. It'd be a shame if it didn't work, because that's an expensive spell.
Yeah, it is.
We make him pay for it.
All right. So what are you doing?
Or-
You can see that the Roderick Hilltopple is actually, and one of his older sons is actually like corralling the animals off the side, kind of letting them graze and just keeping an eye on them. You also notice now that you're closer to the inn that far in the distance is what looks to be a crumbled stone keep, roughly located just to the side of the really wide wooden bridge that looks like it's definitely seen better days that crosses both banks of the Desserin River. That's near the hill where Barge Right Inn is actually located. This is to the north, that direction. So,
Well, Belfrian, you said you think that you can just dispel the magic that's on him. Or, nope,
Yeah.
Balabar said
Balabar.
that.
Tomorrow.
Hey, just try
Yeah.
the restoration.
If it's magical in nature, I don't know if I don't know anything about restoration and how to help him or not. But I can try to dispel it tomorrow.
I'd say
That's a free option to try first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
let's
that
wait
first.
for that.
Yeah.
I don't, this diamond dust,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Diamond
waste
dust.
it.
If we don't
And-
know for sure if it'll work. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to need it when we go against this guy.
Yeah.
And it would be a real shame to not have it.
all right.
But I got your boy Koros. Don't worry, Zorana. We'll take care of him.
I appreciate it.
Emmons says, don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him.
I also appreciate you, Emmon.
He gives you a thumbs up.
We got our own little NPC bodyguard.
Then he goes back to picking his nails.
Staring blankly at the wall.
No, he seems to be just surveying and keeping an eye on Roderick. But it is roughly about 4:45 now, close to 5 p.m., and the sun does set maybe a couple hours.
Yeah, let's get in the inn.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so you look inside, and the inn looks pretty much almost exactly like the bottom right corner, which is on the screen right now. You see dingy, candlelit chandeliers, this kind of like foggy light. People are obviously smoking in here, and it has created kind of like this smoky, tobacco-filled atmosphere. You see there's a couple of people in here. One table actually has the Hilltopple family that are, feet dangling above the grounds because they're halflings, eating or in the process of having an early dinner. You see that there is an old woman that is currently sweeping the floors. She's got a long green tunic with a brown skirt and a white and red kind of apron on. And she looks over at you and kind of just gives you a somewhat friendly smile. She's human with gray hair, and her hair is she's got what looks to be kind of like a brown bandana on her head. And she says, welcome to the Spitfire Inn. My name is Marla. Can I get any of you folk anything? And just looking around the inn itself, you see that there's a couple of other patrons here as well. Particularly, there's a guy kind kind of like a real wide-jawed, brown-bearded dude with like a bald head. And he seems to be pretty deep in his cups as he's just like morosely staring into kind of like he almost looks like to be a dwarf, but he's human. He's bigger than a dwarf, but he's very similar looking to what a dwarf would be. But he's just staring into this pint of ale. She
Does it
says,
look like a familiar
"So this is
stare?
what Marla looks like." And what'd you say? Is it a familiar stare?
A familiar blank stare into the
No,
cup.
he doesn't. He doesn't look up. He definitely looks like he's coherent, but he is. He's unflinching, and he's like staring over his drink.
Does he look like the Weevil?
No, he does not.
Okay. That guy's kind of dwarf looking.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get some
So we-
food for dinner and introductions to Ludovic.
Oh, you're looking for Ludovic.
I don't
She
think
kind of
that's
gives
here.
like her face scratches up. She says, "Oh, yeah, I think we'll find barge ride in and up in barge ride over the hill, over the bridge." She says,
Oh,
that's
wrong inn.
not here.
Sorry. I
She
can't
says,
keep track.
but I
So
can
many
fix-
inns.
"I can fix
Oh,
you up
yeah.
with some food if that's what you're looking for."
That would be delightful.
How long of a walk is it over to Barge Ride Inn?
Oh, not a long walk at all. Less than a mile. Shouldn't take you, strapping young boys and girls, longer than a few minutes.
Okay. Well, maybe we hit that up before dinner time.
How
Uh,
big is this inn?
The inn that you're currently standing in, it is.
No.
Oh,
I'm asking her how big the barge ride in is.
she kind of gives you a look. She says, "What? The Spitfire is not good enough for you."
No. I was just
question.
wondering how big it is.
So we've never been there.
I mean, it's on a map. It must be goddamn ginormous, right?
She makes you. Why don't you make me persuade, Chuck? Persuasion.
I have disadvantage because of my scar, and I'm tired.
And you're really tired. she
Not
looks
bad,
at you. She
just-
says, "Why don't you go find out for yourself? Food coming up." And she walks away from you guys toward the bar.
Nice.
It seems like everybody
She-
can smoke here.
She calls over her shoulder. She says, "Sit yourselves anywhere you want." And you see her disappear into the kitchen behind the counter.
I'll go sit with the Hilltopples.
Same.
You think you hear a loud cough from the kitchen.
Ooh, it's coffee.
I don't want to eat the food now.
All right, you go sit with the Hilltopples, and they seem pleased that you joined them. But don't make much conversation as they are greedily eating hot food.
That's fine.
A meal that they have not had the pleasure of enjoying in quite some time.
We made delicious.
What are you talking
food.
about? They had delicious hot pork and lamb.
Yeah.
But you notice that they're eating like potatoes and soup, hot bread, things that you just can't make on the road without the proper
Carbs.
yeah, they're eating carbs,
Carbs.
essentially. You even see some honeyed roll.
Sweet.
I could get some pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes back as you guys settle yourselves down. She comes back. It looks like she's the only person that works here. And she's carrying what looks to be like 6 heavy wooden mugs and like a flagon, two pitchers of what looks to be like ale. She says, "I'm preparing your food in the back. Is there anything special that you want? I have some hot soup, carrots, mutton, some potatoes. I got a bit of rhubarb pie, and some honeyed rolls."
Honeyed rolls and rhubarb pie, please.
I'd love some soup
I'll take one of each.
and rolls.
All right, the full gamut all coming up. And she leaves the drinks on the table and then heads back behind the bar.
Do you need any help fetching any of the stuff?
She says, "I'm an old woman, but I can manage for myself." But I wouldn't say no. She gives you a smile.
Then I'll go help her.
All right. You come back into the back of the kitchen. It is a mess, but you do see that it is pretty well maintained, and there are several pots, on low smoldering fires to keep the food warm. She tells you where certain things are, but it's quick. It's pretty easy to lose track of everything, and you find that she has to help you.
Sorry, getting my bearings. I used to work for a tavern a while back. So
Oh, you looking for a job? I could always use some help around here, and a pretty face like yours would be a good thing.
Oh,
Might help me bring some customers into the Spitfire Inn, after my good-for-nothing son burned himself. I've been having to do all the work myself.
oh, that's a shame. That's so terrible. How'd he burn himself? Cooking or fireballing?
That in his mind. How you know? You didn't hear from me, but this Wamford bad business is bad for town and bad for business. My son had it in his right old head that he can take care of the Wamford bad himself, and he joined up with some adventurers a couple of weeks back. He says, as you already know, they burned themselves in that house of theirs outside of Tariga Supplies.
That was your son.
He says, one of the idiots. Says the other ones didn't fare so well. Blew themselves up, they did.
Oh, that's terrible. This Wamford bat is the reason why me and my companions are here. Or one of the reasons.
Well, I wouldn't know about anything like that. I think you should just retire and join me at the inn. I can pay you well, a whole silver a day. Now come now, let's bring the food to your friends.
Yes.
And you're holding like 2 large trays. And she's also holding 1 tray. And you guys are bringing it to the table, and you start laying out food for everybody.
Oh, here.
She says to all of you, she says, I got your friend working for me now. And we paid a whole silver. You see the guy with the heavy beard, he looks up, and then he goes back to his drink. A couple of mutters over in the corner from like old guys just drinking and smoking.
Gotta liven this place up a bit.
Yeah, it is dreary in here. There's no music. The food smells good, but it's intermixed with the tobacco.
Gonna open some windows, get some song and dance. Emin, you're a bard, aren't you?
Emin's outside.
That's what I'm yelling. Get in here and tap dance for these people.
He yells as you hear his distant voice says, "Not that kind of bard."
Oh.
I'm a priest of Ao, remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
whoever that
sure.
What the hell is he talking about?
Yeah. But, I mean, as you begin to eat, it's comfort food, a little greasy, not so great, but it does fill your bellies, and, it is a hot meal.
My bad.
What'd you say? It fills your bed?
Your
No.
bellies, not your bellies.
It sounded like you misspoke for a second.
It's a cut off. Brother.
Yeah.
Kareem, you finally get your alcohol.
Ah, yes, finally.
Yeah,
That's
the
bad.
ale is not so great either. Pretty watered down, from what you could tell.
I drink more of it.
Standard fare stuff. It seems like you'll have to drink several glasses of it to begin to feel a buzz.
I'm going to feel like a racehorse later.
Just don't go outside to do it.
Don't you have a jug? Get the
What?
good stuff out.
Yeah,
Don't you have a jug? We picked up a jug.
alchemy
Jug.
jug.
Yeah,
We have an
it
alchemy
makes
jug.
wine or beer.
It makes wine and beer.
Wait, when did we get an alchemy
We
jug?
got an alchemy jug from Grudhog.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got goblin symbols all
Did I
over
get
it.
it? Who got it?
we found it.
You got it. It's in your possession.
You have it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you,
Hell yeah, I'm gonna get some fucking beer out of that. I gotta put that in my notes.
How could you forget?
It's like your dream.
You'd
come
already
true.
you'd already been drinking from the alchemy jug. It sounds like.
Yeah, I'm fucked up from it right now.
You got a whole 4 gallons to go, you know?
Is it
All
getting
right.
dark?
Oh
Dark
yeah,
out?
yeah. It starts to get dark as you guys are pretty much finishing up your meal.
Might as well get a room here tonight and go to the other inn tomorrow.
Look out the window. Are the 2 kids still out there?
Yeah, you still see them playing outside.
Hmm.
I like this. I go out there.
All right.
Where are your parents?
They're actually wolves.
So Belfrien's gonna leave, and I heard somebody mention something about rooms.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's getting dark out, and we should get rooms so we don't get eaten by a vampire at night, and then we can go to the other inn tomorrow.
The better inn.
I mean,
Right, it won't come into town into the inn and try to kill us.
So
Yeah,
you ask
can't
Marla
interview.
about some rooms. She says, despite the name, we don't really have any rooms here. If you're looking to spend the night, you gotta go to the old barge right. She says, or take up residence with one of the common folk in town.
I don't think.
She says, maybe old Munter over there. And she kind of like nudges with her head, and she points at the bald guy.
What's wrong with you?
Why do you call it an inn? False advertisement of the highest degree.
Yeah, it should be the Spitfire Bar.
Yeah.
Ah, you see, we used to have rooms, but you needed to make more space. Says,
What a space. What kind of customers you got around here? I'm gonna look around.
that's before my time when I was a little girl, all right? And she
Are
walks
you
away,
harboring
kind of
giants?
upset.
Harvey.
Well, I guess we'll finish up and head to the other place that actually has rooms. I look at her.
Let's go to the church and bum there.
What are we like, the giant
Well-
Nazis?
We have to. We were gonna go to Barge right in anyway to meet with that dude. So
Oh, yeah.
right, we got to meet with
can't-
Ludovic.
You want to go to the town already?
We're in the town.
No,
No,
to
the other
barge
town.
right.
The inn town. That's not a town. I don't know what the fuck that
To
thing
be
is.
honest,
It's huge.
I'm kind
though.
of scared of going to barge
It's on a
right.
map. It's gotta be pretty big.
I feel like that's where the vampire hunters are. Like that's where our crew. That's where the people who are gonna help us are.
Yeah.
And the vampire is also there.
Vampire's
Well, I
here.
mean,
I thought he was there.
It's Wumford.
he's
Matt.
all
We're
over,
in
baby.
Wumford.
I thought he was in bar.
I mean, we were attacked like miles away last night, so I don't think
It matters at
being
this
next
point.
door is gonna help. Yeah.
That's fair. He's definitely on the lookout for us, though.
Yep.
So even if we stay at an inn, I feel like we should take watch at an inn.
I feel like we need to get some brooms. I'm gonna fall asleep right now.
Yeah, you're getting tired, especially after that meal. You got the itis.
I have a food baby.
So, Belfry, you walk out, and your path along the road, the Ironford Keep Road, as it's called, takes you past a statue. The statue itself, like I described before, looks to be a man dressed in plate armor. It's made out of stone. It's crumbling and has definitely seen some better days. It's got a sword, like I said, pointed down, with its hands resting at hip level on the pommel of the blade. From what you can tell, it is dedicated to some dude because there's a kind of like a rusted, oxidized plaque, perhaps made out of copper, at the base of the statue that reads, "Certain Jeremy of Hell."
Oh, old protector, I assume.
But you see that it's roughly kind of pointed toward the church or toward the center of town, kind of like surveying the village of Wamford itself. But the 2 kids seem to be playing. Like I said, seems to be a boy and a girl. The girl looks to be a brown teddy bear, and they appear to be human children, perhaps no older than 10 or 9. And the little girl is saying, Ben, when do you think Button's gonna come back, Ben? And he says, I don't know, Harriet. Stop asking me that question. And he takes a rock, kind of like a smooth rock on the shore, and just skips it across the river. And then she pulls on his sleeve as she notices you coming over, and she says, look at the pretty lady. And
Putting it.
well, at Belfran, who's on her way. And this is what they look like. You notice as you get closer, the girl has kind of got slightly pointed ears, as if she's a half elf.
Pretty pale.
Oh. I'll wave to them. Big smile. You kids enjoying yourself out here?
Maybe, Ben says. Who would like to know, huh?
My name's Belfrian.
Don't be so mean, Ben. She says, and she walks up from out behind them. She says, my name is Harriet. And she puts out a hand to try to shake yours.
Oh, nice to meet you, Harriet.
She says, have you seen Button?
Bun?
Button!
Button.
No.
She points at the river. She says, Button went to the river this morning. And Octopus got him. And we haven't seen Button come back. And Ben walks over to her side. And he's not holding a blade, by the way. And he says, stop it, Harriet. She doesn't want to know about Button.
Oh, on the contrary, I'd love to learn more about Button.
You would? Oh, Button's a big dog, and he's got yellow fur. And he went into the river when we tried to throw a stick, and he went to go chase a stick, and then an octopus got him.
An octopus in the river?
Yeah, it seems really odd to you. Ben says, Button's our dog, and he hasn't come back out of the river.
That's terrible.
He looks at the river sadly and then looks back at you. Where are you from?
Golden Fields.
Can I see your staff? But it looks big.
Sure. This was given to me by a talking tree.
Both the kids seem completely enthralled by your staff. And she says, talking... Really?
Yes.
I don't believe you. Liffer, blah, whatever. It's a stupid stick. And he leaves you, and he picks up a rock and chucks it across the river again. But Harriet seems completely enthralled by it, and she looks at you and she says, "I like your hair. It's so blonde. It looks like straw." And she picks her nose.
You have pretty hair too.
I do. Thank you. And she's kind of petting it. Have you met Mr. Teddums? And she shows you her teddy bear.
Oh, he's so adorable.
I know. He's very cute. And sometimes he falls over. He's really clumsy. She says, I miss Button. Harriet, it's getting dark. We have to go back, Ben says.
Yes, that's a good idea.
She says, where are you going? I saw you come in with some others. We were hoping you stayed by, but we were really shy. I was hoping. Ben doesn't care about anything.
He doesn't. What a shame.
She's like playing with Mr. Teddums on the ground. Kind of like walking along your staff.
You want to see a trick?
Yeah, I love tricks.
All right.
You
Take
got
my
Ben's
hat.
attention too. He's kind of like half paying attention to you guys.
Twirl it around a little bit, and then I plant it into the ground, and then it becomes a tree. Just
How big of a tree?
a 60-foot tall tree.
Holy
God.
shit.
5-foot diameter trunk.
Oh my
with
god.
branches that spread out 20 feet.
Oh my god, it's like an instant. It's like it just grows out of the ground with tremendous speed. And they're both like, oh. Ben is like completely shocked. He like just drops the rock he was holding. And she's like super excited. She jumps up and starts clapping tremendously, leaving Mr. Teddums on the ground. She says, "Wow, that was awesome!"
I spent
And,
some of my best days swinging from trees like this.
She immediately starts to climb it, and Ben's like, "No, Harriet, get down from there!" And he walks up. Not walks up. He kind of like jogs up to the tree, and he's like touching all around it. And she's just like scampering right up to it, right up it. You know, like a kid normally would.
It's harmless.
How long has Belfry been gone by now?
Like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna go out and look for Belfry.
Yeah. So the first thing you see when you walk out is there's a giant 60-foot tall tree by the
shore.
northernmost dock. On the edge of the shore there.
Do I see Belfry next to it or something?
Yeah, Belframe's there, and you also notice there seems to be a pale girl climbing it, and then the boy at the base, kind of like looking all around it skeptically.
I'm gonna kind of sneak up a little bit, and I'm gonna make an illusion of a monkey in the tree.
Sure.
Hoot and holler at them.
Sure. Go ahead and make me a stealth check.
Start
And,
climbing the tree.
Oh, very nice. They definitely,
God.
even Belfry does
Invisible.
too. And what sort of illusion is this? I'm assuming it's a moving sound. So,
When I cast minor illusion, I can make an image and sound.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm an illusionist, so I make it looks like I would say, just a small like howler monkey type thing, and I'm just gonna make it hoot and holler and jump around the tree.
Sure. Is its name Wicked?
It is. Its name is Wicked.
Wicked's the name of the monkey in our Tomb of Annihilation game.
I hate the owner who bought it and just bites the chance it gets.
Yeah, so Wicked the monkey playing with the little girl Harriet, who is hooting and hollering and super excited to be playing with the monkey in the tree.
I'm watching Belfry and I'm seeing Belfry's freaking
Yeah.
out at the monkey in the tree.
What?
Yeah, that's a little odd to you, Belfry. You did not expect a monkey to be in the tree.
Monkeys don't live around here.
There was no monkey in my tree.
And as you're looking around, you see no sign of anybody around. The kids.
It's a cute monkey. Careful, those bite.
What are the rest of you guys doing again? In the meantime.
Probably getting, ready to leave, paying for our meal.
All right,
Yeah.
sure. So in
Just
total,
eating up.
yeah, the meals may be about, I'd say about 4 gold.
Each? Or total?
No, total.
Okay.
Just take it out the back of Zabrana.
I got it. I just take it out of my purse in my pocket because I don't care.
No, you have to break a diamond or some
So-
kind
so-
of.
You guys are
jewel.
paying the bill, and just as you're paying the bill, and the two of you, and Belfry and Balabar are outside, you hear what sounds to be a bell tolling in the distance.
Where is it coming
Is it-
from?
Oh, it
Yeah.
seems to be coming from a northwestern. in the direction of Barge right in.
I think it's.
What's that bell?
Is that normal? I ask the.
Marla says, that's the bell that signals that they're closing the gates. She says, you better get there quick if you want. She says, otherwise it's going to
Shit.
cost you 10 gold to get inside. Each.
Shit, yeah. Let's go.
Should go.
Thanks for the dinner.
Yes, it was delightful.
The bald guy with the beard, he looks up at this moment and just sleepily raises his mug to you guys. And he says, he kind of waves one of you guys over. He's generally, waving in your general direction.
I go over to him.
He says, excuse me, miss.
Mhm.
Have you seen me daughters? Name of Lily and Daisy.
Oh, we saw the sign outside the town.
Oh, you did? You did.
We did.
Oh, that's good news. Her name is Munter, and their father, and I've been looking for them.
Do you think they went off to the barge right in?
He says, aye, there. It's been some time now, and I miss me daughters sorely. He says, would you be a lass and look for them?
I put my hand on his shoulder. We'll find him.
Oh, thank you kindly. And he taps your shoulder and kind of just rests his head on his arm. You notice that his drink is dry. His mug is empty.
There's nothing in his cup.
And this is what the guy looks like, minus the tattoo on his forehead.
I'm gonna try to.
God, he's the weevil.
I'm gonna try to get the girl to climb down the tree by having her chase the monkey down.
Sure. She does so.
I'm gonna have it run.
She's really excited and she dances and skips and does circles around the tree. She picks up Teddy and
I'm gonna have it start running towards Belfian, and as it does, it kind of morphs into a walking teddy bear, running right at you.
all right. She seems super excited by that, and Belfrin also see the illusionary monkey, which you can't tell is an illusion unless you interact with it. Change shape into a teddy bear that looks just like Mr. Teddums.
Yeah.
Some kind of teddy monkey? Yeah. There's some strange creatures around here.
At this point, Ben grabs Harriet's hand, and he says, "Come on, Harriet, we have to go." He says, "That's the bell," and he says, "Bye now," and she says, "Bye," and she doesn't seem like she wants to go, but she's getting dragged off by Ben.
Stay safe.
And you see, they go into a nearby house. It's the one that's called Carla's house.
No.
And within a few moments, they close the door behind them.
Can
I
I say
have
while,
the. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I say while I was at the end that I was dipping my hooks and stuff into the
Yeah, that's fine.
Silver.
Sure.
cool.
And I think that's a good place to stop for the night.
Oh,
Sure.
Balabar had something to say. Kevin,
I was just gonna say I have the teddy bear tell Belprian to stop playing with the kids and come back to the inn.
Stop! It's time to go.
It's totally like a Ted voice, right?
Yeah, and it taps it taps its foot and crosses its arms, and then it just explodes into mist.
Oh, Balabar! Oh, I should have known. All right. Take down my tree.
Get your staff back.
All right, so so what's it called? Emmon says, "Well, I guess you're headed over to the old barge, right? So I think all these animals here are not going to really be all that easy to get into town. We'll probably just stay here the night, look for a place, a common house to sleep. Maybe that old church over there. And he points to the church on the map. He says, "But if you guys are planning on heading over, be safe." And he hops down off the top of the old wagon and opens the door. And then he calls out to Roderick to come back.
We will. You stay safe too, Emin.
He says, "Yep, I'll keep an eye on Koros." And he rolls.
Works for me. We'll figure this out.
All right, so kind of like, getting your bearings, and as the sun is setting, you guys make your way along the Ironford Keep Street or road that heads north toward the wooden bridge and the crumpled keep, trying to get to barge right in before the gates close. And
Great.
that, we'll stop it there for the night.
All right.
Oh man,
Bum, bum, bum.
what the hell's gonna be in there?
Vampires. It's all vampires.
We're actually just
Pretty
talking
big
to a
and-
vampire that just wants to take over the town from the other vampire.
Oh, jeez.
Ludovich, Russian name, definitely a vampire.
100%.
All right, so
Escape from Ravenloft just to come here.
yeah, the mists start to roll in.
Shit.
And guys, we're switching the campaign to curse.
Yeah, that's cursed.
Hell yeah.
Has anybody played that?
I am.
Unfortunately.
You're currently playing it, somebody?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
all right.
Kevin.
Yeah, I never have.
How far are you in? Like, what level
Uh,
are you?
Level 4. Nope. Level 6.
Oh, all right. Very cool. I like that campaign a lot.
It's very
It's
different
definitely
than
on my list.
what I'm
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to. It's very different than the old Ravenloft that I knew.
Oh, all right. Well, you didn't play it with me. I definitely played it very old school. I had the most awesome group of characters. We played it in person. Actually, Eric was playing it too.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
playing,
I played second edition Ravenloft, but this
Wow.
new version of it is very different than what that was. Just the mist works differently, the Vistani are different, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So story-wise, it's different.
I still like it,
Overall,
though.
yeah. I love the setting though.
Cool. All right. I hope you guys had fun tonight. We will
Yeah.
play in 2 weeks on May 1st.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Looking forward to it. That was fun.
Whew.
Thanks,
All right,
Joe.
great. You're welcome. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for playing.
Thank you,
And...
Joe.
Have a good night. Great.
All right, cool. Later, guys.
Good night.
I need like a cool like outro saying
Dun,
like,
dun, dun, dun,
"Here's
dun.
the guy."
Is
Is it?
it the next 2 weeks yet?
Is it the following Tuesday yet?
Yeah, there you go. I like that
We'll go with that.
one. We'll go with that one. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Thank you. Bye.